Chapter 106. I screamed myself hoarse. Ezechiel swung his arms as he walked towards the school. Recalling Lin Xia's appearance just now, that was a living example of a crazy tigress. This silly girl. She's going to start a fight at the slightest disagreement. What are you doing? A soft voice sounded out from the alley beside the street. Ezechiel followed the voice and saw a few delinquents surrounding a girl reeking of alcohol. Beauty, let us send you home. The green-haired gangster smirked and reached out to the girl's cheek. The other hooligans would also take the opportunity to take advantage of her from time to time. Although the girl tried her best to stop them, she still let those hooligans take advantage of her. Hurry up and get out of the way. The girl pushed them with all her might. The gangsters pursed their lips and smiled. Instead of retreating, they advanced and surrounded the girl completely. Don't be like this. Didn't everyone have a good time at the bar just now? Why are you suddenly unhappy? As he spoke, the green-haired gangster had already stretched out his hand to grab the girl's arm. Let me go. The girl screamed and tried to shake off his arm. She did play well with him at the bar, but she just wanted them to buy her alcohol. How could the girls in a bar buy their own drinks? Didn't they always ask others to pay for them? In the past, there were no problems when she played like this. Who knew that she would encounter such a group of scoundrels this time? Get out of the way. If you don't, I'm going to call for help. The girl's almond-shaped eyes were filled with anger. She pursed her delicate lips and raised her eyebrows. She looked like an angry lion cub. The hooligans at the side suddenly laughed. Green Hair even had a playful smile on his face. Even if you scream until your throat breaks, no one will come to save you. Before the green-haired delinquent finished, Ezechiel raised his hand and smiled coyly. Should I scream my lungs out? The drunk girl's eyes lit up when she saw Ezechiel walk out from the corner. Help me. Call the police. The girl waved her arms with all her might. When the gangsters next to her saw that someone wanted to ruin their plan, they immediately separated and surrounded her. Brat, hurry up and scram while I'm happy, or else thud. A shiny fruit knife appeared in Green Hair's hand. At the same time, a few hooligans around him also took out their own fruit knives. You don't know me? Ezechiel pointed at his nose. Who the F***ck are you? Why do I know you? Ezechiel let out a soft sigh. Recently, all of the delinquents that Ezechiel met knew him, so he thought that he had gotten famous in this circle. From the looks of it, he was still not famous enough. All right, it doesn't matter if you don't know me. I'll let you know me. With that, Ezechiel raised his hand, grabbed the green-haired man's arm, and twisted it upwards. Then, he turned around and kicked all of the delinquents to the ground. Seeing that, the delinquents around the girl also rushed over, but they were no match for Ezechiel. Ezechiel quickly dealt with the delinquents, then clapped his hands towards the green-haired man with a smile. Ezechiel, now you know him, right? Damn, I'll remember you. Let's go. Ezechiel scrambled away with his lackeys, then turned around to tell the girl that it was safe. However, when he turned around, he noticed that the girl had already disappeared. Wow, that's too heartless. Ezechiel shook his head with a smile. He had wanted to be a hero saving the beauty, but in the end, the girl ran away. The most F***king speechless was that he didn't even see what the girl looked like. At the Antique Street in Bingqing's East District, creak, the jarring sound of the door opening rang out, and not long after, a girl with a languid expression walked in from outside. I'm back. The man in the room replied without even raising his head, while he continued to play with the calligraphy in front of him. Why are you playing with that crappy painting every day? You haven't even been so careful with me. The girl took out a bottle of drink from the fridge and twitched her mouth towards the man. What do you know? This is the real work of Bodhishanran. Oh, the crappy painting that you bought with 5 million hick. The man frowned and twitched his nose slightly. Damn, girl, you're drinking again. How many times have I told you not to drink outside so late at night? What if something happens? Say, can't you save me some trouble? Yes. The girl nodded lazily, stretched lazily, and said, I'm so tired, I'm going to sleep. Come back, I didn't finish. The man turned around to chase after her. The girl pointed at the painting with a smile. Don't chase me, don't blame me if you lose the painting. The man instantly blanked out for a moment, while the girl also took the chance to lock the door with a bang. Coincidentally, it was Monday again, the day to help Huang Yi clear his meridians. Zichen, eat some fruits. Huang Shengmei smiled gently as she brought over a plate of fruits for Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen could feel her deep love from her eyes. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. At the same time, a curse sounded out from Huang Yi's bedroom. This retard. What's he doing inside? Yi Zichen indicated towards Huang Yi's room with his mouth. Huang Xingmei smiled softly. What's he playing? Oh. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then walked into Huang Yi's room with his hands behind his back. At that moment, he was sitting on a chair with headphones on. He stared straight at the computer screen, while his hands madly operated the keyboard and mouse. Yi Zichen stood quietly behind him and watched him team up. I lost. The screen turned black. Then Huang Yi threw his headphones away and leaned back. I can turn the tables. Yi Zichen chuckled behind him. Huang Yi smiled in surprise. What's wrong? Only then did Huang Yi smile in surprise. Zichen Ji, why did you come? Did you come to take a look at my leg? Then let's start. Huang Yi became a lot brighter after gaining the confidence to stand up, especially when Huang Shengmei used hot water to apply on his leg recently. He could faintly feel the numbness from his leg. At that moment, he had endless expectations towards Yi Zichen's treatment. He firmly believed that as long as he cooperated with the treatment, he would definitely be able to stand up one day. Then you're not going to play anymore? What for? The bottom lane is already destroyed. I can turn the tables. Yi Zichen smiled softly, then pushed him to the side. Yi Zichen controlled Huang Yi's top lane vampire and led his teammates to team up against the other side. Explosive damage. He directly wiped out the other side in one go. Since the game had already gone on for 40 minutes, and the revival time was rather long, Yi Zichen could only force himself to destroy the other side's base. Zichen Ji, amazing. I'm at the king level. Huang Yi was shocked. Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment, then asked, You said that you're a king? Yeah, the strongest king of the first zone. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes, then looked meaningfully at Huang Yi's win point, then turned his head with a smile. Chapter 107. You're sick. You're recovering pretty well. You'll be fine after I come again next Monday. You could try using your legs to stand up. Yi Zichen patted Huang Yi's back and stood up from the chair. Through the treatment for Huang Yi, Yi Zichen was getting more and more familiar with the use of energy. For example, this time, he didn't feel like he was fished out of the water like before. Zichen, wipe your sweat. Huang Xingmei handed the towel over. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Huang Yi, who laid on the bed, said excitedly, I can really stand up? Of course. Would Zichen Ji lie to you? Yi Zichen smiled. Huang Yi instantly flipped over and looked up at the ceiling with a smile. Oh yeah, Zichen Ji, why did you ask me if you want to play professionally just now? My friend established a professional team and is lacking a top laner. If you want to play professionally after you recover, I can introduce you to someone. Of course, it'll be up to you. If you don't want to, of course I want to. Huang Yi slapped the bed with his hands and revealed a look of longing. Being able to play professionally has always been my dream. I used to watch them play at home. If I can play as well, then that would be great. Then I'll take you over to have a look when you recover. Yi Zichen patted Huang Yi's shoulders a few times, then pulled Huang Shengmei out of the bedroom. Huang Yi's recovery is very good. I suggest you ask for leave from the hospital and take care of him at home for a week. When I come back next Monday, he'll be able to stand up again. Of course, during this time, you have to resuscitate his leg muscles. Does that mean I can't treat you to a meal again? Huang Shengmei frowned. Yi Zichen let out a long sigh helplessly and knocked her head. That's not quite right. There's something wrong with what you're saying. Is eating with me more important than your little brother standing up again? Of course it's important. Huang Yi, who was in the bedroom, suddenly spoke up. Zichen Ji helped us so much. It's perfectly normal for my sis to treat you to a meal. You don't have to worry about me. I've always been at home by myself before. Huang Yi's help caused Huang Shengmei's eyes to brighten. She looked at Yi Zichen with anticipation. Since he had already said so much, it would be a little unreasonable to refuse. Yi Zichen had no choice but to nod and agree. Since Huang Xingmei had to go to the hospital to work in the afternoon, Yi Zichen and company found a small restaurant near the hospital to sit down. Actually, when he was with her, Yi Zichen felt a bit, it must be awkward. The relationship between the two of them was too inexplicable, and the increase in their intimacy was also too inexplicable. The two of them had advanced to become lovers, and it was not even a matter of course. On the contrary, it gave off a very stiff feeling. After ordering a few side dishes, Yi Zichen sat on the chair, not knowing what to do. Huang Shengmei rested her chin on her hands, while her gaze never left his body. What's wrong? Huang Xingmei raised her eyebrows. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then smiled after a moment of hesitation. You just graduated from a medical university, right? Sort of. That's pretty amazing. He just graduated, and he managed to become a resident doctor. Maybe it's because I did well on my professional courses in school, and old Zheng took good care of me when I came to the hospital for my internship. Elder Zheng? Zheng Cheng? That's him. Huang Xingmei nodded with a smile. Huang Xingmei smiled and nodded with admiration in her eyes. Old Zheng is a very authoritative figure in the medical world. I'm lucky to be recognized by him. With that, she looked towards Yi Zichen with a smile. But you're still more amazing. But you're still the best. Even Elder Zheng couldn't handle the case, but you managed to save him. It's just pure luck. It shouldn't be, right? You can't just rely on tricks to save people. You being able to save him means that you have the ability. Huang Xingmei's tone was filled with admiration towards Yi Zichen. Huang Xingmei's tone was filled with admiration towards Yi Zichen. Oh yeah, are you also a medical university student? Or, I'm a vet. Hearing that, Huang Xingmei was stunned. Vet? Vets can treat people now. Yi Zichen also understood just how shocking his answer was. Fortunately, the waiter brought the food over, so the two of them flipped the page. During the meal, Yi Zichen noticed that Huang Xingmei was a bit different from the other girls beside him. Compared to Xiao Yumei's flirtatiousness, Su Yin and Xia Kik's youth, she was the more intellectual kind of beauty. Xingmei. A chuckle sounded out. Huang Xingmei looked up, while her delicate eyebrows instantly knitted together. Seeing that, Yi Zichen also looked back. Only then did he see a round-faced man of average stature walk towards them from the stairs of the second floor. You know him, our hospital's vice director, Wu Dio. He can be considered to be half my superior. Huang Xingmei frowned. This guy always intentionally or unintentionally reveals some rather ambiguous information to me. But since he doesn't point it out, I always act dumb. Unspoken rules. Z's. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. At the same time, Wu Dio also walked in front of them with a chuckle. Eating with your little brother? Wu Dio smiled when he noticed Yi Zichen, who was beside him, and asked in a testing tone. Huang Xingmei pursed her lips. At that moment, Yi Zichen stood up with a smile. You really know how to joke. Let me introduce myself. I'm Xingmei's boyfriend, Yi Zichen. Lil Huang's boyfriend. After a brief moment of awkwardness, Wu Dio maintained a smile on his face. However, his tone changed, and even the way he addressed Yi Zichen changed. Lil Huang, you just graduated from the medical university. It wasn't easy to get to the position of a resident doctor. Of course, your recent performance in the hospital has been pretty good. Actually, I've always wanted you to take a step towards being an attending physician. But you, Wu Dio shook his head with a sigh, then looked towards Yi Zichen intentionally. You're in the period where your career is rising. You can't be like this. Of course, it's not that I don't want you to get a boyfriend. It's just that getting a boyfriend will cause you to be distracted. Say you stay in the operation room all day if anything goes wrong. There's no need for Dean Wu to worry about that. I know what I'm doing. Huang Xingmei stood up from the chair and smiled humbly. A light flashed across Wu Dio's eyes as he snorted. Fine. You'll suffer if you don't listen to your elders. With that, Director Wu shook his head and walked out, mumbling to himself as he walked. It seems like you have to settle for a few more years before you can get the position of attending physician. Dean Wu, wait a moment. Before Huang Xingmei spoke, Yi Zichen suddenly raised his hand and stopped him. Hearing that, Wu Dio stopped and glanced at Yi Zichen. Dean Wu, did you know? You're sick. Chapter 108. The meeting in the heavenly court ended. Wu Dio's expression instantly darkened. Yi Zichen actually said that he was sick in front of so many people. I've been a doctor for so many years. How can I not know my own body? Young man, don't try to please the crowd here. How am I trying to please the crowd? I'm doing this for your own good. Yi Zichen frowned helplessly. Of course, you're a doctor. However, doctors don't cure themselves. Have you not learned that after being a doctor for so many years? Then tell me what illness I have. The smile on Wu Dio's face had already completely disappeared. Anyone would be in a bad mood after being called sick in front of so many people. All right, then I'll say it. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Huang Shengmei, who was on the side, wanted to stop him, but when she saw Yi Zichen's comforting gaze, she swallowed her words. Have your eyes been swollen recently when you wake up in the morning? When you wash your hair, a lot of your hair falls out? When you drink water normally, you wake up more than 3 times at night? Wu Dio was stunned. It seems like you haven't noticed the severity of the problem. It's all thanks to your luck that you met me. Otherwise, Yi Zichen shook his head and sighed, then acted like he was helpless. No one would not care about their health, and Wu Dio was no different. The 3 points just now were all about his situation, so he couldn't help but reply seriously. What illness is this? Now you believe that there's an illness, right? Yi Zichen smiled playfully. Try to press on the right side of your lower abdomen. Wu Dio pressed the button without a second thought. Nothing happened. Press down a bit more. Press harder. All right. Ugh. A disgusting stench instantly filled the restaurant. All of the customers in the restaurant covered their mouths and noses in displeasure and ran out of the restaurant. Wu Dio's face also turned green. You're messing with me. Who's messing with you? You can't even remember the characteristics of acupoints as a doctor, and you still have the face to say that I'm messing with you? But I'm doing this for your own good. I'm helping you expel the foul air. Ugh. Ugh. Brat. I'll remember you. Wu Dio hastily ran out of the restaurant with his pants up. Yi Zichen fanned himself a few times in front of his nose, then smiled towards Huang Shengmei. Let's go as well. Ding dong. Your favorability level with Huang Shenghao increased by 20. Current favorability level, 535. Yi Zichen smiled dryly after sending Huang Shengmei to the hospital. I didn't cause any trouble for you, right? I just don't like that geezer. Of course not. I've long found him an eyesore. If he really causes trouble for me, I'll just change hospitals. Huang Shengmei shook her head with a smile. All of a sudden, she blushed and bit her lips, then leaned forward and kissed Yi Zichen on the cheek. I'm going to work. After watching Huang Shengmei leave, Lu Qing floated out and said faintly, You're hitting on girls again. Yi Zichen was stunned, then speechless. What did I start hitting on girls again? No. Lu Qing pouted and counted with her fingers. You helped Huang Shengmei's brother treat his leg without asking for anything in return. Don't you know that this kind of behavior is the easiest to move a woman's heart? You just help her teach that guy a lesson. If nothing goes wrong, Huang Shengmei will definitely fall in love with you. I've liked him for a long time. Yi Zichen couldn't help but retort. The marriage string was tied, and the affability level between the two of them broke through 500. This was already past the threshold of lovers. Also, you let Huang Shengmei's brother play professionally for the sake of that girl called Jingwan, right? Yi Zichen nodded slightly. Jingwan was the only person he knew that wanted to form a team. See, isn't that right? Lu Qing wrinkled her nose and twitched her mouth. That's why I say you're very scheming. Ugh, how am I scheming? The biggest problem Jingwan is facing right now is that she doesn't have enough members to form a team. Wouldn't she be grateful to you for sending her a top laner? Hearing Lu Qing's words, it really was the case. You look harmless, but your method of retreating in order to advance is truly amazing. This little girl admires you. With that, Lu Qing bowed towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen instantly felt wronged. In all honesty, he really didn't think so much. He merely wanted to help Jingwan. He didn't think of anything else. Why did Lu Qing's words make him feel like he was unforgivable? If that's the case, then am I flirting with you by keeping you by my side and helping you find a chance to revive and take revenge? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Hearing that, Lu Qing immediately twitched her mouth. Say it after you do it. This damn girl. Yi Zichen was extremely annoyed when he saw Lu Qing's tsundere face. He wanted to hit her and scold her, but he couldn't bear to. It was all because this girl was so cute. Buzz, the phone in Yi Zichen's pocket rang. He cursed, "I'll deal with you later," then picked up the call. "Yi Zi, I've taken care of the supermarket for you." Yi Zichen was extremely excited when he heard that. "I'll be right there." Half an hour later, Yi Zichen drove to the supermarket. He had intentionally told Su Yiyun that the supermarket didn't have a sign. His supermarket wasn't for selling to people, it was for selling to deities. "How is it? Not bad, right?" Su Yiyun pointed at the supermarket filled with all sorts of products proudly. He had been extremely busy these past few days, but at least the results seemed pretty good. Yi Zichen had helped him deal with the trouble Chief Lu had caused, and even save their family's old man. Their entire family now treated Yi Zichen as their benefactor. He had always wanted to find a chance to repay Yi Zichen, but he didn't have any way to do so. This supermarket was the simplest repayment he could do for Yi Zichen. Thus, he had been working hard these past few days and used the fastest speed to arrange everything. Not bad at all. Yi Zichen had a look of excitement. He didn't think that this guy would actually help him buy the goods. This saved him a lot of trouble. "I have a friend who runs a food processing plant. The goods came from him. This is his name card. I can find him if I want to buy goods in the future." Su Yiyun handed over a name card. Yi Zichen nodded and accepted it, but his gaze remained fixed on the assortment of snacks in the room. These treasures were all chips for him to get rich in the future. Su Yiyun couldn't help but smile when he saw Yi Zichen's satisfied look. "All right, stop being happy. I've been exhausted these few days. Shouldn't you reward me?" Ding dong. The phone in Yi Zichen's pocket rang. His shoulders shook, then he took out his phone and saw that the Monkey King and company had appeared in the group. "Monkey King, it's finally over. That geezer Jade Emperor is too good at bullshitting. Erlang Shun, preposterous. Monkey King, my son, you're not happy when I say that you're my relative? Canopy Marshal. Monkey Bro, true Lord Erlang. Can you two stop arguing? Monkey King, idiot, are you siding with an outsider? Did you forget how old Sun helped you back then? Third Prince Neza. Hee, it's so busy here, much more so than that group. Yulao, stop arguing. Didn't Celestial Friend, Nameless, say to tell him after our meeting ends? Are we going to talk about the spokesperson? Old Lord Taishang. Yes. Third Prince Neza. Only idealism, we're done." Yi Zichen couldn't help but lick his lips as he looked at the scrolling messages on the screen. "Yi Zi, what are you doing?" Only then did Yi Zichen return to his senses. He patted Su Yiyun's shoulders and laughed. Chapter 109. Old Lord Taishang gets kicked. Yi Zichen ignored Su Yiyun's screams and pushed him out of the supermarket, then locked him from the inside. After watching him gesticulate for a long time, his phone vibrated. "You grandson, burning the bridge after crossing the river." Yi Zichen laughed, then replied that he'd contact him when the time comes. Su Yiyun, who was outside, raised his middle finger and left. "Did the deities look for you?" Lu Jing, who was by Yi Zichen's side, knew all of his secrets, so Yi Zichen was not surprised that she could guess it. Yi Zichen nodded, then sat down on the ground. Lu Qing floated behind him and stared at his phone curiously. "Cough, cough, I'm here." "Monkey King, you're too slow. I'm already preparing to return to Mount Huagua." Third Prince Neza. I ran out of Nutri Express. Followed by a row of drooling emojis. Canopy Marshal. Celestial Sovereign. What do you want old pig to do? Erlang Shun. I'm feeding the dogs. You guys chat. I'll check the records later. Yulao. Fellow Taoist, the meeting is over. Shouldn't we talk about what happened that day? Old Lord Taishang. Hurry. Speed. Humph. Yi Zichen smiled coldly, then kicked Old Lord Taishang away. "Ah, why did you move him out of the group?" Lu Qing covered her mouth and exclaimed. Yi Zichen glanced at her and cursed. "Did you forget that when I was at the police station that day, this old man raised the price with me? How could I spoil a guy like him? But he's the supreme old lord. Isn't he very powerful in the heavenly court?" It was clear that Lu Jing had pretty much digested all of Yi Zichen's secrets. More importantly, she completely believed in the existence of the heavenly court. What's the use of being powerful Which one of us in this group doesn't have some skills in the heavenly court? Not long later, he saw that old Lord Taishang sent him a message. Fellow immortal, why are you doing this? Why? Humph. With a wave of his hand, he deleted all of his friends. When Yi Zichen returned to the chat group, he saw that the people in the group were asking all sorts of questions. So he once again popped up in the group. Let's get rid of the black sheep in the group and continue. Yu Lao, fellow Taoist, are you referring to old Lord Taishang? Yi Zichen, yes, that's him. Third Prince Neza, what's wrong with Grandpa? Monkey King, hey, good kick. Old son has long disliked this old man. Canopy Marshal, old pig, doesn't care. Erlang Shun, woof woof, at the Heavenly Court's southern heavenly gate. Old Lord Taishang looked at the chat on Yu Lao's phone and glared at him angrily. Old friend, don't be too angry. I'll get the Sky Sovereign to add you in. Yu Lao stroked his beard and chuckled. Old Lord Taishang glared at him. There's no need. With that, old Lord Taishang summoned a cloud and left. Yu Lao, old Lord Taishang is angry. Monkey King, hey, whether he's angry or not has nothing to do with us. Monkey Bro's words really hit the nail on the head for Yi Zichen. So what if he was angry or not? There was no shortage of him. If you're angry, then be angry. Let's talk. Everyone responded one after another, clearly having forgotten about old Lord Taishang. Yi Zichen glanced at the list of food prices on the cashier and pursed his lips into a smile. Everyone, please wait a moment. I'll make a price list first. The price list was actually very simple. He just had to add a 0 behind the unit price. For example, Sprite was 3 yuan, then it would be 30 cultivation experience in the Heavenly Court. Of course, these were all preliminary estimates. It would depend on the sales in the future. If the sales were high, then he would increase the price. The black-hearted merchant was exactly like Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen could be said to have cured all of his procrastination problems for the sake of his future cultivation experience. In a short hour, Yi Zichen finished the price list, then ran outside to make a few copies before returning to the chat group. Ahem, is everyone here? Monkey King, you're too slow. Everyone would have left if you waited any longer. Canopy Marshal, Sky Sovereign, you have to have some sense of time. Yi Zichen panicked when only the two of them spoke in the group. It can't be that everyone else left, right? Where's Yu Lao, the third prince, and Erlang Shun? Monkey King, Neza is acting cute over there. Yu Lao is playing chess with a bunch of geezers, while Erlang Shun is flexing his muscles with the fairies. Canopy Marshal, hey, they're all keeping people. Monkey Bro and I aren't too familiar with the people in the Heavenly Court. Yi Zichen understood. Third Prince Neza, Erlang Shun, and Yu Lao. Erlang Shun, bro, you finally came back. If you waited any longer, then I would have been taking advantage of all of them. Monkey King, twitching mouth emoji, I think you felt pretty good just now. Third Prince Neza, everyone likes me so much. Yu Lao, celestial friend, you finally came back. This old one can't take it anymore. Yi Zichen couldn't help but feel a bit moved when he saw how much these deities helped him. This sovereign will remember everyone's kindness, so I won't say too many words of gratitude. Everyone can enjoy 3,000 cultivation experience free of charge. Yu Lao, celestial friend, is too courteous. Third Prince Neza, how much Nutri Express can 3,000 cultivation experience buy? Monkey King, you're so petty. Ugh. Yi Zichen felt rather helpless when he saw that the deities in the group were rather happy, but the Monkey King was petty. Yi Zichen looked at the price list in his hand and directly scanned it. Ding dong. Canopy Marshal received your red packet. Yu Lao received your red packet. Monkey King received your red packet. Erlang Shun received your red packet. Third Prince Neza received your red packet. Yu Lao, what is this? It's actually so thin, but there are words on it. Erlang Shun, it's the same quality as the book bro gave me. Monkey King, what kind of treasure is this? It doesn't seem like it can be eaten. Third Prince Neza, you can't eat it. Canopy Marshal, whoa, I think I already ate it. This is the price list of this sovereign's product from now on. You guys are my spokesperson, as well as my #1 agent. You can choose to purchase from me and sell it at a higher price, or you can choose to rope in customers to buy from me. I'll give you a discount when you buy products from me in the future. Yu Lao, Celestial friend means that we can take treasures from celestial friend and sell them in the heavenly court, then earn the difference in price. Third Prince Neza. That's fine too. Is everything on it edible? Can it be Marshall? I, old pig, can't do that. If I purchase from you, then I'll eat it all up. Old people are truly smarter. Look at you, Lao. This geezer, he already understood everything without even pointing it out. Yes, Yu Lao is right. Yu Lao, where is it? How can we sell it if we don't have it? Wait. With that, Yi Zichen arrived at the underground warehouse. Yi Zichen looked at the neatly stacked goods that filled the entire warehouse. There were all sorts of goods. This was all money. Just this warehouse of goods should be worth at least several tens of thousands of yuan. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth. You can't catch a wolf without risking it. Chapter 110. Tai Bai Jinxing, who was burning with rage. Are you going to send all these goods to them? Lu Jing walked around the warehouse. When she saw Yi Zichen's expression, she was more or less certain that he was going to send everything over. But aren't you afraid that they won't work for you after taking the goods? Actually, Yi Zichen had the same doubt as well. If he sent all of this to them, would it affect their sales in the future? Or, in other words, he could save some of them to promote the new products in the future. However, the price list had already been sent out, so it would be inappropriate for him to not send out the full list. Moreover, he didn't believe that this warehouse could contain all the snacks and drinks in the modern world. As for not working, I see your group name is Supermarket Spokesperson Selection. Why don't you just leave one agent? During this period of time, let them exist in a competitive relationship. That way, at least someone can work hard. Little girl, you're so smart. He raised his hand and knocked on Lu Jing's head. Her idea was really feasible. I'll do as you say. Scan. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. On Yi Zichen's side, red packets flew everywhere. Several hundred red packets were sent over, which meant that he had sent over several hundred items. What replaced it was an empty warehouse. One side's hands were limp from giving, and the other side's hands were limp from receiving. The message, XXX received your red packet, appeared on his phone. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Yu Lao increased by 50. Current intimacy level, 230. Intimacy level increased. Current intimacy level, trusted. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with the Monkey King increased by 50. Current intimacy level, 225. Intimacy level increased. Current intimacy level, trusted. Ding dong. Ding dong. His phone kept ringing with messages of intimacy increasing. In just a moment, the intimacy of all 5 immortals in the group had increased to trusted. Not long after, the immortals who had snatched all the red packets also began to appear in the group. Yu Lao, fellow celestial, this? A row of shocked emojis. Third Prince Neza, delicious. Looks like he's already eating. Monkey King, ha ha, generous. Erlang Shun, brother, you sure are generous. Canopy Marshall, delicious. This guy also started eating. As expected, the 2 people Yi Zichen was worried about the most were the Canopy Marshall and Third Prince Neza. They were truly worrisome. As soon as he got it, he started to eat. However, that was a risk that Yi Zichen had to take. The 2 of them had eaten, but the other 3 hadn't. This is the free trial product that I'm giving you. I hope that all of you can bring good profits to me. As long as you do a good job, I will give you a lot of benefits. Another thing is that these are the products that are free to try out. In other words, these are for you to sell in the heavenly court. If you eat them, Canopy Marshall. So what if I ate it? Third Prince Neza. You can't eat it? You can eat it. You can eat it if you want. However, you won't be able to promote it in the heavenly court after eating it. So you won't be able to enjoy discounts in the future. By the way, there can only be one spokesperson, and it will be decided based on your sales results. Yi Zichen pursed his lips as he looked at the silent group. All right, everyone. The rest of the time is yours. After exiting the WeChat group, Yi Zichen stretched lazily, then took out the phone number Suthian gave him when he looked at the empty warehouse. Hello, I'm restocking. At the same time, Heavenly Court. Neza, who was wearing golden armor and a red dew, put down the snacks in his hand reluctantly. I can't eat it. Canopy Marshall did have some self-control, so he really didn't eat it. However, the pile of snacks that Yi Zichen just sent over. It seems like there are only a few bottles of drinks left. Third Prince Neza pouted in a troubled manner and looked at the pile of snacks beside him. It doesn't seem like it's a problem to eat another one, right? Just as he was about to open a jelly, Immortality, Peach Fairy flew over from the side. Third Prince, Immortality, Peach Jijia. The third prince grinned as he raised his head. The Immortality, Peach Boy landed beside him and looked at the mountain of snacks in front of him suspiciously. What is this? Celestial Sovereign, Nameless, sent this to me. Immortality, Peach Jijia. Do you want to eat it? The third prince took out a jelly and handed it over, then recalled Yi Zichen's message in the group. Great deity Nameless needs cultivation experience. If Immortality Pichujia wants to eat these snacks, then you can buy them from him. At the same time, in another part of the South Heaven's Gate, Yu Lao and Third Prince Neza walked in a different style. He was the current leader. You could try it for free. If you want to buy it, then go find him. He would increase the price of the items that Yi Zichen provided by 10% in order to sell them. Erlang Shun and the Monkey King also started to get busy. All of a sudden, the South Heaven's Gate became a market for hawkers. The sky had already turned dark when Yi Zichen finished putting the goods in. Yi Zichen called Su Iyun to the spring bar near the school when he thought of the great contributor. The two of them sat in a booth, while various colored drinks were placed on the table. Su Iyun raised his glass and clinked it with Yi Zichen, then asked in confusion. Zichen, that friend of mine, said that you bought goods from him again. The goods in the warehouse were sold out. Sold out? Su Iyun exclaimed. He was the one who bought the first batch of goods. In order to save Yi Zichen some trouble, he bought a certain amount of goods. He predicted that the goods could be sold for at least half a month in such a remote area. However, Yi Zichen told him that they were sold out. It had only been an afternoon. Yi, you aren't joking with me, right? Su Iyun gulped. Even if he racked his brains, he couldn't think of what sort of sales method was able to sell out all the goods in such a short period of time. I gave it away for free, and it didn't sell quickly. Su Iyun was completely confused. You gave them all away? Yeah, rich guy. Su Iyun didn't know what to say about him. The goods were only worth several tens of thousands of yuan, and he gave them all away just like that. You don't understand. Let's drink. Yi Zichen raised his wine bottle and clinked it with Su Iyun's, then took out his phone to look at Yu Lao and company's moments. Among this group of people, Yu Lao was the most serious. He continuously promoted it in his moments, and his update rate was almost as fast as the WeChat merchants on Yi Zichen's phone. There were also a lot of his replies below. It seemed like he would become one of Yi Zichen's agents in the future. As for Neza and company, there wasn't much activity in his moments, so Yi Zichen didn't know how they were doing. Ding dong. Yi Zichen's phone vibrated, causing his shoulders to shake as well. A customer came to find him so quickly. Yi Zichen clicked on it excitedly and saw that it was Tai Bai Jinxing. Little fellow, you're challenging my bottom line. Chapter 111. Lucy Zichen couldn't help but smile when he saw Tai Bai Jinxing's message. He seemed to have thought of this geezer's exasperated look in the heavenly court. Tai Bai Jinxing came to find you. He seems to be very angry. Lu Jing, who sat beside Yi Zichen, stuck out her tongue towards the phone screen. Of course the geezer was angry. The heavenly court should be like a market right now. It would be strange if he wasn't angry. Why are you so angry? Do you know what you're doing? The heavenly court is in a mess right now. Ding dong. Tai Bai Jinxing sent a few pictures over. Yi Zichen couldn't help but giggle after taking a glance. Lu Jing also covered her mouth and giggled. These pictures were too funny. Monkey Bro blew out a bunch of monkeys at the entrance of the heavenly court. The monkeys were all holding the goods Yi Zichen sent over. They were probably hawking. Neza stood on his wind fire wheels like he was performing acrobatics in order to attract attention. Erlang Shun showed off his abs, while the dog shook its tail with a snack in its mouth. Yu Lao was even more amazing. He had a new product promotion bag tied to his head as he shouted like a peddler. Brat, I'm telling you, you're already severely affecting the life of the heavenly court. The Jade Emperor isn't here right now, if he comes back later. So what if he comes back? Yi Zichen twitched his mouth. Can the Jade Emperor hit me when he comes back? Someone might even become my fan after giving him a bag of snacks. Geezer Tai Bai, just tell me why you came. What? Do you want to be my spokesperson as well? If you want, I can give you a spot. Spokesperson my ass. Tai-Bai Jinxing's shoulders trembled. His shoulders shook violently. It seemed that old man Tai-Bai was really angry. Lu Qing said with a worried expression as well. He seems to be really angry. Shouldn't you say something nice? Yi, what are you doing? Drink. Su Yiyun bumped Yi Zichen's shoulder when he saw him playing with his phone. Wait a moment, I have something to deal with. Yi Zichen licked his lips after comforting him. Great deity Tai-Bai, I have no other choice. I need cultivation experience. You need cultivation experience? Then go into the underworld and provide me with information. I will naturally give you cultivation experience. Yi Zichen couldn't help but twitch his mouth when he saw the reply. That was enough to dry the hair. 1 fiery eyes of truth required 1 million cultivation experience. If he were to exchange for it with missions, he would have to wait for an eternity. By the way, how's the situation over at the underworld? Tai-Bai Jinxing sent another message. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and thought to himself, if he were to speak the truth, this old fellow would definitely beat him to death. But if he lied, what if he was exposed? I asked you a question. F***CK. What a bad temper. Looking at the message on the screen, Lu Jing was secretly worried for him. Yi Zichen licked his lips and forced himself to reply. I didn't go in. What? In a certain deep mansion in the heavenly court, a white-haired old man was so angry that he almost threw his phone away. He stared at the message angrily. After a long time, he finally calmed down. How far have you progressed? Progress, Yi Zichen frowned, then answered truthfully. During King Qin Guang's birthday banquet, White Impermanence got a jade stream from me as a birthday gift. I feel like I'll be able to go in very soon. King Qin Guang's birthday banquet? Yes. Who told the underworld to host a birthday banquet? Old man Tai-Bai was furious once again. Yi Zichen was speechless when he saw the reply. You ask me? Who the F***CK am I supposed to ask? I'm just a mere mortal. Do the higher-ups of the underworld have to report to me if they want to host a birthday banquet? Hurry up and infiltrate the enemy. There will be huge benefits. With that, Tai-Bai Jinxing disappeared. Yi Zichen looked at the reply in confusion. Why does this geezer's words feel like? Although Yi Zichen's expression was calm, a layer of cold sweat appeared on his back when he finally managed to get rid of the geezer. Who knows what sort of divine abilities these deities have? If this old geezer descends at the slightest disagreement, of course, he didn't know whether this geezer could descend or not. But if he really does descend, then I'll teach him a lesson. Then I really can't beat this geezer. This Tai-Bai Jinxing is so fierce. Lu Jing wrinkled her nose and pouted. Yi Zichen raised his hand and rubbed her head, then put his phone back into his pocket and let out a long sigh. It's done. Su Tian also spoke up. He raised his eyebrows when he saw Yi Zichen's relieved expression. Do you need help? No need, it can be done. Yi Zichen raised his wine cup and clinked it with Su Yiyun's. At that moment, a white leg suddenly appeared in front of them. Handsome, can you treat me to a drink? Hearing that, Yi Zichen looked up and couldn't help but be stunned. It said that beauties come from bars. That was indeed true. If the girl in front of me was in Polytechnic University, she would definitely be the school beauty. The girl wore blue denim hot pants and a white midriff-bearing top. Actually, the midriff-bearing was something she did herself. She tied it up in front. Her hair was wine red, and she had a lip stud on her lips. She looked rather alluring, but it didn't match her temperament. It's our honor to treat a beauty to a drink. Before Yi Zichen could say anything, Su Yiyun moved over. The girl conveniently sat down. Yi Zichen couldn't say anything, so he could only agree. Your friend is truly the same as you. Lu Jing frowned on the side. Yi Zichen smiled. This girl just liked to pick on him. He was already used to it. Beauty, I wonder how I should address you. Su Yiyun had already started chatting with the girl. The girl raised her glass and pursed her lips with a smile. You can call me Lucy. You're just a vixen. Lu Jing snorted on the side, then glared at Yi Zichen while pulling on his clothes. I'm telling you, you can't get in touch with this vixen, understand? I'm asking you a question. Did you hear me? Lu Jing was a bit emotional, causing her to pout. Yi Zichen revealed a playful expression. Why? I think the girl is pretty decent. How did she become a vixen? If I say she is, then you're screwed. Lu Jing floated in the air with her hands on her waist and looked down at Yi Zichen angrily. Ha ha! Yi Zichen laughed out loud, causing Su Yun and Lucy, who were on the side, to be shocked. Yi Zi, what are you laughing like an idiot for? Ah, sorry. Yi Zichen raised his wine cup and smiled apologetically. When Lucy saw him, her eyebrows instantly knitted together. She blinked her long eyelashes, as if she was recalling something. Chapter 112. Fu Qingming's cousin, don't tell that vixen. Lu Jing's delicate face frowned. Yi Zichen patted her head, then pursed his lips with a smile. Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen. Who told you to tell her? Lu Jing instantly became angry like a lion cub. I'm never going to be with you again. With that, she went back into the dragon eye. Yi Zichen. A hint of confusion flashed across Lucy's eyes. She didn't seem to know anyone with that name. However, she felt like she had heard it somewhere before. Just as she was about to continue asking, her expression suddenly changed, and she buried her head in her neck like an ostrich. Brat, I actually bumped into you here. A prideful cold laugh sounded out from behind Yi Zichen. When Yi Zichen turned around, he saw Green Hair, who he had to deal with the other day, standing behind him with a cold smile. What? You want me to pay for your medical fees? I'm telling you, I don't have any money. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth and ignored him. Su Yun glanced over and smiled. What kind of person are you? I beat him up. You got beaten up by me. Grandson, you're pretty cocky. I'm telling you, now that my big bro has come, just wait to die. Leaving behind a few ruthless words, the green-haired man left with his brothers. Yi, do you need me to find some people? Su Yun squinted his eyes and acted like he was about to take out his phone. Yi Zichen shook his head. In terms of fighting, he had never lost to anyone since his body was modified by the body-enhancing pill. Yi Zichen subconsciously looked towards Lucy. Where's that girl called Lucy? Only then did Su Yun look at the empty seat beside him and shook his head. I don't know when she left. Yi Zichen was stunned. He seemed to have experienced this before. Big bro, it's this brat. At that moment, Green Hair rushed over proudly. Yi Zichen also turned around when he heard that. When he saw the big bro beside Green Hair, he immediately revealed a playful smile. Zhao Hu, this grandson is your lackey? Yi Young Master Yi. Zhao Hu's head buzzed when he saw Yi Zichen. Then he slapped Green Hair. Boss. Green Hair covered his face, not knowing what to do. Zhao Hu gave him a slap. Mother of asterisk her, of all people to provoke, he had to provoke this lord. Boss, you stupid boss. Hurry up and apologize to young Master Yi. This slap woke Green Hair up. It was obvious that even their boss couldn't afford to offend this big brother. In an instant, Green Hair's face became sullen, and he knelt on the ground with a thud. Young Master Yi, I was wrong. I don't have time to deal with you. Go away. Yi Zichen wasn't the type of person to be unforgiving. Green Hair had always suffered at his hands, so it was normal for him to want to get back at him. What surprised him was Lu Zhu, who was standing beside Zhao Hu. The two of them seemed to have parted ways at the cold drink shop. How did they end up together again after not seeing each other for just a few days? He snapped his fingers at Zhao Hu, then gestured to Lu Zhu. Why are they together again? Lu Zhu's face immediately turned pale. Zhao Hu frowned and said, Apologize to young Master Yi. This time, Lu Zhu was not as arrogant as before. She trembled and lowered her head. Young Master Yi, stop. Yi Zichen raised his hand to stop Lu Zhu's apology, then shrugged with a smile. We all came to the bar to play. Why did it become like this? Young Master Yi, I truly know my wrongs. Lu Zhu nearly knelt onto the ground, while a hint of sobbing surfaced as she spoke. She truly knew fear now. The big brother that she had always been proud of had already been taken away by the people from the city's police station and hadn't come out yet. However, she had bullied plenty of people before just because Lu Chong was a police officer. Without Lu Chong's protection, she was worried that the people she bullied would cause trouble for her. Thus, she could only return to Zhao, who sighed helplessly. However, in the end, the person who caused all of this was Yi Zichen. She was truly afraid that Yi Zichen still held a grudge against her. If that was the case, then even if she had 10 heads, it wouldn't be enough. Young Master Yi, woman, is there something wrong with your brain? I won't cause trouble for you. Don't think too much. You aren't worth me taking action personally. With that, Yi Zichen frowned toward Zhao Hu. Take her away. Yes, young Master Yi. Yi Zichen and Su Ian no longer had the mood to drink after Lu Zhu's antics. The two of them left the bar after storing the remaining drinks. After sending Su Ian away, Yi Zichen prepared to take a taxi and leave. However, a black RV stopped in front of him. The car door opened, and several Hulks walked out. Yi Zichen could feel a dense, murderous aura from them. Soldiers. They were the type of iron-blooded soldiers who walked the line between life and death. Please come with us? The emotionless tone caused Yi Zichen to frown. He subconsciously activated unbreakable body, while inner energy circulated around his hands. Who are you? Please don't make things difficult for us. Come with us. You guys are so cute. You want me to come with you without even revealing your identity? How would I know if I'll live or die after coming with you? Then that's rude. With that, the soldiers reached out their right hands towards Yi Zichen. Their actions were in sync, and it could be said that they blocked all of Yi Zichen's paths of retreat from all directions. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then released the astral energy within his body. His arms climbed onto the soldiers' arms like a ghost crack. Two of their arms were immediately cut off by Yi Zichen. After that, the rest of the soldiers retreated. At the same time, a magnetic laughter sounded out from within the RV. I was right. A man with a smile appeared within the RV. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. From what he could remember, he didn't have any contact with such a person. I don't seem to know you. Young Master Yi indeed doesn't know me, but I've heard of young Master Yi a long time ago. The man smiled warmly, then signaled the people beside him to leave. I'm friends with Xiao Hai. Hai Ji's friends wouldn't treat me like this. You should be being sarcastic, right? As they spoke, Yi Zichen became more and more nervous. This unknown guy suddenly appeared, and he was followed by a group of soldiers. Either they were from a mercenary organization, or they were sent by his enemies to assassinate him, or they had something to ask of him. Young Master Yi truly guessed correctly, the man smiled. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dongfang Wenyi. Tell me your reason for coming here. Actually, I have 2 reasons for coming here. Speak. Actually, I didn't lie to you. Xiao Hai and I are indeed friends. I found out from him that old man Xiao was able to recover because of young Master Ye's spiritual medicine. Firstly, I want to ask for medicine for my family's old man. Dongfang Wenyi spoke calmly, while maintaining a smile on his face. Secondly, Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. If it was purely for medicine, then the other party wouldn't have tested him. Secondly, Fu Qingming is my cousin. Chapter 113. Be merciful. The moment Dongfang Wenyi said that, Yi Zichen's gaze turned cold. I don't think you're asking for medicine for the old man. You're here to avenge Fu Qingming, right? Let me tell you, I was the one who beat up Fu Qingming. What can you do? If he wasn't wrong, these guys didn't have guns on them. As long as there were no firearms, then everything else would be useless. Although Yi Zichen couldn't fight 100 enemies alone like an ancient general, there were only a few people in front of him. He didn't put them in his eyes. Young Master Yi, you've really misunderstood. Dongfang Wenyi shook his head and smiled. I'm definitely not here to cause trouble for young Master Yi. On the contrary, I'm really here to ask for medicine. I also want young Master Yi to help me reattach Mingming's limbs. When Yi Zichen had beaten Fu Qingming into a dead dog, he had also used the tendon-separating bone dislocating technique from the special medical records. At that time, he didn't think too much about it. He just wanted Fu Qingming to suffer a little more. He just needed to wait for Fu Qingming to go to the hospital and let the doctor reattach him. However, from the looks of it, the doctors in the hospital couldn't connect it. Fu Qingming's limbs are still dislocated. That's right. That uncle of mine brought my cousin to look for many famous doctors, but the result was that they were all helpless. But why should I help him? Fu Qingming, this grandson, had always played dirty tricks behind his back. If he didn't learn his lesson, he would really think that he was made of mud. Because I can help young Master Yi. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows in confusion. Dongfang Wenyi also laughed lightly and said, "Let me emphasize this time. Xiaohai and I are really friends. Of course, we are friends in a competitive relationship. He asked me about Bai Dahai and how and a while ago." Yi Zichen looked at Dongfang Wenyi cautiously, then took out his phone to call Xiaohai. "Little Yi? Brother Hai, someone called Dongfang Wenyi is looking for me." "He looked for you?" "Yes, I've dealt with him for many years. He's definitely trustworthy. He also has the information you want. You can make a deal with him." "Got it, Brother Hai." Hanging up the phone, Dongfang Wenyi had already made a gesture of invitation. "Young Master Yi, please. Shouldn't you let me reattach your subordinate's arm?" "My pleasure." On the way to the Dongfang family estate, Yi Zichen noticed that the man in front of him was truly a very smart person. This kind of person looked harmless, but from his eyes, one could feel the kind of heart-palpitating danger. This kind of person should not be deeply acquainted with. While he was deep in thought, the car arrived at the Fu family's residence. Yi Zichen walked into the mansion's living room under Dongfang Wenyi's lead. It was magnificent. That was the only way Yi Zichen could describe it. "Young Master Yi, please." Dongfang Wenyi led the way for Yi Zichen to a bedroom on the second floor of the mansion. Fu Qingming's face was as pale as paper as he laid on the bed. His eyes were dim and murky. Beside him was Fu Qingming's mother, Dongfang Yun, who was wiping away her tears. Fu Hong was standing on the windowsill of the room, puffing on his cigarette. "Qingming, look who I brought to see you." Dongfang Wenyi brought Yi Zichen to the window with a smile. The moment Fu Qingming saw Yi Zichen, a hint of hatred immediately appeared in his eyes, but it was quickly replaced by pleading. He moved his mouth, but no words came out. It seemed Yi Zichen had dislocated his chin as well. "You're Yi Zichen?" Dongfang Yun, who was sitting by the bed and wiping away her tears, stood up from the bed with a hideous expression and reached towards Yi Zichen's face. Fu Hong grabbed her arm from behind, causing Dongfang Yun to scream. "You still dare to come to our house? Do you really think that our Fu family is easy to bully?" Fu Hong was clearly more rational, but his gaze towards Yi Zichen was also unfriendly. "It seems like I'm rather disliked." Yi Zichen rubbed his nose and glanced at Dongfang Wenyi. "I think it's better not to treat this illness. The patient's family seems to have quite a bit of an opinion of me. Uncle, I brought young Master Yi to treat my beauty." Dongfang Wenyi explained with a smile. Fu Hong's expression darkened. "Treat? Fu Qingming's real father, right?" Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "You might have quite a bit of an opinion of me, but it seems like you don't know about your son's terrible record. I dislocated his arms and legs." "That's right, but you might not know that he used a lot of dirty tricks on me, right? I did it as a small punishment for him. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for young Master Dongfang looking for me, I wouldn't even bother to come to this broken place of yours." Dongfang Yun, who was on the side, twitched her mouth and wanted to curse, but she also wanted Yi Zichen to treat her son. No matter what, she did not want to see her son suffer like this. "Old Fu, why don't you let him try?" Dongfang Yun's eyes were slightly pleading. Fu Hong snorted with a sullen face. "Then let's give it a try." "Hee, if you say I'll give it a try, I'll give it a try. Why am I in such a hurry?" Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. Fu Hong was about to get angry, but Dongfang Yun spoke up first. "Then what do you want? Ask your man to say something nice. If you're asking for help, you should have the attitude of asking for help. Secondly, you have to promise that you won't cause any trouble for me in the future. You can't cause any trouble for my friends or family either. Do you understand? I can promise you that I won't cause you trouble, but let me beg you." A sinister look flashed across Fu Hong's eyes. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and shrugged. "Don't worry. Forget it then." With that, Yi Zichen walked out of the bedroom. Dongfang Yin quickly ran over to stop him, then shouted towards Fu Hong. "Fu Hong, is your face more important than your son's life? I don't believe that there's no one else other than him that can treat our son." Fu Hong seemed to be quite stubborn. Fu Hong seemed to be quite stubborn as well. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth and shrugged. "Yeah, but how many doctors did you find? Which one of them did it for him?" Yi Zichen's words instantly caused Fu Hong to lose his temper. At the same time, Dongfang Yin also called out. Old Fu, Mr. Yi, please be merciful and treat my son. Fu Hong glared at Yi Zichen fiercely and shouted through clenched teeth. What's with that look? Are you trying to scare me? Yi Zichen shrunk back in fear. Fu Hong raised his eyebrows, but when he saw Dongfang Yun's expression, he could only suppress the anger in his heart and said obediently, Mr. Yi, please be merciful. That's more like it. Yi Zichen snorted and walked in front of Fu Qingming. Due to his lower jaw being dislocated, he could only eat liquid food to fill his stomach, causing his entire face to be pale. Yi Zichen raised his hand and knocked Fu Qingming's chin. Crack! Young Master Yi. Don't bother with me, young Master Yi. It's fine as long as you, young Master Fu, don't cause trouble for me for no reason. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then quickly reconnected all of Fu Hong's limbs as well. Yi Zichen clapped his hands, then turned around and indicated towards Dongfang Yun and Fu Hong. Go and take a look at your son. As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at Dongfang Wenny. Chapter 114. Two beautiful sisters singing a duet time ticked by. Yi Zichen sat in the living room of the room, while a green gourd was placed in front of him. Didn't you ask for spiritual medicine for your family's old man? I haven't seen your family's old man. Take the wine in this gourd back for him to drink. Dongfang Wenny took the gourd over and opened the stopper, causing the fragrance of wine to spread throughout the living room. He raised his eyebrows, then quickly plugged the bottle. What does young master you want from me? You don't doubt whether this thing I gave you is useful or not. Yi Zichen was rather surprised that Dongfang Wenny didn't say anything and directly talked about the conditions. I hate people threatening me the most. My wine might be able to harm your family's old man. Dongfang Wenny's eyes instantly turned as cold as a venomous snake. He pursed his lips and placed the gourd on the tea table. Young Master Yi is a smart person. He wouldn't do that. What's more, we will have a lot of chances to cooperate in the future. This guy really isn't easy to deal with. Yi Zichen's shoulders trembled. Yi Zichen calmed himself down, then took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it for himself. I want news of how One and Bai Dahai. Is there any connection between the two of them? Smart. Dongfang when he snapped his fingers and pursed his lips into a smile. Bai Dahai is being suppressed by Hao Wen right now, so he can be considered as one of Hao Wen's henchmen. As for this Hao Wen, there are people above him. Who is above him? I don't know either. Dongfang when he shrugged. Our Dongfang family is the same as the Shao family. We are all businessmen, so some secret matters cannot be investigated. The clue I can give you is that Hao Wen's subordinates are controlling Bai Dahai's wife and daughter, and they are plotting something that will make you fall. Only fall. Yi Zichen had already guessed that Bai Dahai and Hao Wen should be together. The two of them are definitely plotting something shocking. However, he never expected Dongfang when he to say that it was only to make him fall. Making young Master Yi fall is already amazing. Could young Master Yi's identity cause them to be unable to make a comeback? When Dongfang Wenny said this, his eyes revealed endless deep meaning. It was as if he knew Yi Zichen's background. His tone was calm and certain. This was not the first time he had encountered such a situation. It was obvious that they regarded him as a certain type of person. That group of people was very mysterious. Just like him, they had endless tricks up their sleeves. But who exactly were those people? He did not know if he would come into contact with that group of people in the future. However, since Dongfang when he misunderstood, then let him continue to misunderstand. Anyway, there was no harm to him. It's good that young Master Dongfang knows, but our place doesn't like outsiders talking too much. Young Master Dongfang should know what to do. As soon as these words came out, a ripple immediately appeared on Dongfang Wenny's calm face. She didn't expect him to be from that place. But why would people from that place come here? Wasn't there a rule that people from that place couldn't casually enter and exit the modern world? No matter what, he couldn't afford to provoke this person. Of course, Dongfang Wenny's imposing manner was clearly much weaker. His Dongfang family indeed had quite a bit of prestige in the business world. Even in the imperial capital, they could occupy an acre of land. But compared to the people in that place, they were nothing. Say it, what exactly are Hao Wen and Bai Dahai plotting? After leaving the Fu family, Yi Zichen declined Dongfang Wenny's offer to send him off, and called a taxi to leave by himself. When that brat, just as Fu Hong, who was standing in the living room of the mansion, was about to speak, Dongfang Winnie quickly stopped him. "Uncle, it's best if you don't say something like that. With his identity, even our Dongfang family can't afford to offend him. To put it bluntly, if young Master Yi wants to, he can destroy your business in any minute." "What?" Dongfang Yin also rushed over upon hearing the commotion. Dongfang Winnie nodded noncommittally. Dongfang Winnie nodded. "He's from that place." With that, Dongfang Yin's expression drastically changed. Another boring professional lesson ended. Yi Zichen, who was dispirited on his seat, instantly became energetic as if he had drunk some water. He looked up and saw Sun Yaij, who had just stood up from her seat. "Son," Yi Zichen had wanted to greet the class rep, but she frantically ran away from the classroom when she saw him. He didn't know why, but the class monitor seemed to be intentionally or unintentionally avoiding him recently. This caused him to be a bit confused. He didn't seem to do anything to this class rep. Why was she always avoiding him? "Yi Zichen, Rish bro." Just as Yi Zichen was still confused, two cries sounded out from outside the door. Yi Zichen turned around and saw Su Yin and Xia Kiki waving towards him as they stood shoulder to shoulder. Yi Zichen walked towards the two of them under the jealous gazes of the other male students in the class. "Why did you two come together?" Yi Zichen's expression showed a bit of awkwardness. The two girls knew that the other liked him. Now that they came to find him together, the atmosphere between the three of them became a bit strange. "Can't we come together?" A hint of hesitation flashed across Su Yan's eyes. She, who had gotten over that hurdle in her heart, no longer cared about whether Xia Kiki liked Yi Zichen or not. However, she liked to see him get beaten up. More importantly, it was for him to remember. Don't always mess around outside. Xia Kiki also pouted and whimpered in agreement. "This lady and Susu came to find you together, and you're not willing?" For some reason, Yi Zichen felt like the two girls came prepared. "Since I can't mess with them, then I can just hide." What business do the two young misses have with this little one? If there isn't anything important, then this little one will leave first. With that, Yi Zichen turned around to run. Su Yin reached out to grab his collar and smiled playfully. "Where are you going in such a hurry?" Seeing that he couldn't run, Yi Zichen turned around and rubbed his hands with a dry smile. "Didn't I start a supermarket a while ago? You also know that it's the place Su Yun found for me. Since I'm starting my own business, shouldn't I go back frequently to keep an eye on it?" "Is that so?" Su Yin revealed a playful expression, then looked meaningfully at Xia Kiki, who was behind Yi Zichen. "Really? Of course it's true." "Oh, then hurry up and go to the supermarket." Su Yin let go of Yi Zichen's collar with a smile, then hugged Xia Kiki's arm. "Kiki, let's go. Don't get in the way of his business. Rish bro needs to start a business." "Yeah, didn't he say that he wants to start a business?" "I feel like he's tricking us." "Susu, what do you think?" "I think so too, but I don't dare to say it." Yi Zichen put his hands on his hips and said, "You're right," the two of them said in unison. Yi Zichen couldn't help but put his hands on his waist. Chapter 115. Zhuge Coming sitting at the checkout counter of the supermarket. There were 10 concert tickets that Yang Yusher had sent people to deliver on the counter's table. Never in your wildest dreams would you have thought that Big Brother would have a ticket in his hand, and it's even an inter-arena ticket. A hint of pride appeared on Yi Zichen's face. The reason why Su Yin and Xia Kiki messed with him so weirdly just now was all for a few concert tickets. The main thing was that there was no other way. Yang Yusher's fame was absolutely explosive. As soon as the tickets came out, the two girls started to grab the tickets. However, their hands were too slow. By the time they confirmed the tickets, the 5,000 tickets had been swept away by the fans. They'd sought out Yi Zichen because, given his relationship with Hu Hong, they wanted to see if they could get him a few. Of course, their orders were absolute. They had to get the tickets. Yi Zichen put the ticket into his pocket with a smile, then leaned back on the chair and looked at the huge supermarket, causing his face to turn bitter. He had thought that he would be able to sell very quickly in the heavenly court, but after such a long time, not a single spokesperson had approached him for stock, nor had any immortals taken the initiative to buy from him. Could it be that the immortals of the heavenly court don't like it? This shouldn't be happening. The reactions of the Monkey King and the others were quite good. Creak. The door of the supermarket was pushed open from the outside. Yi Zichen continued to stare at his phone without looking up. It's not open yet. Yi Zichen would encounter this sort of situation many times a day. Normally, the customers would leave the moment he said those words. But this time, this person actually stood in front of him and refused to leave. Yi Zichen looked up and saw a boy with black-framed glasses standing in front of him. From his face, one could see a hint of immaturity. He was probably no more than 18 years old. "Brother, our supermarket is not open yet. We can't sell anything." The boy scratched his head and said, "I'm not here to buy goods. What are you doing here if you don't buy jobs? Selling goods? I have a fixed source here, so I don't need to purchase from other sources." No. The boy shook his head like a rattle drum. Yi Zichen was a bit confused by the child. "Then what do you want?" After a while, the boy said with a red face, "Are you hiring here?" "Pooh. Recruitment. How old is this kid? He's already applying for a job?" The boy seemed to sense Yi Zichen's intention to reject him, so he quickly promoted himself. "Brother, don't look down on me just because I'm young, but I have physical strength. I can do things like placing the goods in the supermarket and moving them. You look like a university student. You must have some academic work to do. This way, I can live in the supermarket 24 hours a day, and I can promise you that I won't steal any snacks from the supermarket, and I won't touch the money in the cash register." This child was indeed quite sincere, but the important thing was he had no intention of opening the supermarket to the public. Helpless, he could only make up an excuse. "I can't recruit child labor." "Brother, that's easy. You can just say that I'm a relative's child, and I'm here to help you. Isn't that enough?" It was as if the boy had already considered all sorts of possibilities before coming here. No matter what Yi Zichen asked of him, he answered without hesitation. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen was troubled. Yi Zichen sighed when he saw the boy's expectant gaze. "Then tell me, why are you in such a hurry to find a job? Are you not going to school anymore?" "I'm not going to school anymore. I'm an orphan. I don't have a place to eat or stay. I want to find a place that can provide food and shelter. Big bro, just accept me. I'm really willing to work. It's fine even if you don't pay me. The more the child spoke, the more pitiful he became. However, Yi Zichen glanced at him. This child was wearing high-end brands from top to bottom. Although he hadn't bought them before, he was forced by Yao Yu to recognize quite a few brands when he was dating her. Ignoring what the child was wearing, just a pair of Balenciaga shoes cost around 10,000 kwai. "Orphan, who are you bullshitting with? Lil bro, do you think that big bro doesn't know what's going on?" This child definitely had other intentions for wanting to work here. Since he had nothing to do, Yi Zichen decided to start chatting with the child. "You said that you can't even wear 100,000 kwai, and you're telling me that you're an orphan. Are the welfare of orphanages so good now?" With that, Yi Zichen saw a hint of awkwardness appear on the boy's face. Yi Zichen smiled, then casually picked up a pack of cigarettes from the counter and lit it up, then raised his eyebrows. "Come, introduce yourself first. I'm Zhuge Kongming." Yi Zichen nearly choked on the smoke. He coughed intensely, then frowned. "Look, it's a compound surname. If you said that you're called Gooden, Area, or something, then I would believe it. You're called Zhuge. The waters of your orphanage are truly deep. I've admired Mr. Wulong since I was young. Can I name myself Zhuge Kongming?" Zhuge Kongming blushed and raised his head stubbornly. Only then did Yi Zichen smile. "You want to be Zhuge Liang? Then sorry, I'm not Liu Bei. I don't need you to help me. What's more, you, Zhuge Kongming, are too immoral. I didn't even visit you 3 times, and you came over yourself. That's not like you." Zhuge Kongming puffed his cheeks in annoyance. Yi Zichen crossed his legs and pointed at the door. "Mr. Zhuge, please. Big bro, just accept me. Let me be your lackey, okay? No. Hurry up and leave. Otherwise, I'm going to beat you up." Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows with a fierce expression. Zhuge Kongming twitched his mouth, then directly sat on the floor to act shamelessly. "Then let's just wait and see." You're scaring me. Then let's just wait." After a few hours, the sky turned dark, but Zhuge Kongming was still sitting on the ground, not moving at all. What was strange was that his family didn't come and find him, which confused him. Zhuge Liang, aren't your family worried about you since you didn't return home so late? I said, I'm an orphan. Then just be an orphan. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth and stretched lazily. I'm starving. Let's eat an entire bowl of instant noodles. Not long later, the fragrance of instant noodles filled the supermarket. Zhuge Kongming, who sat on the floor, felt his stomach rumble. He gulped as he looked at the instant noodles on the cashier. Yi Zichen saw all of this, then picked up a bowl of instant noodles and walked in front of Zhuge Kongming. Do you want to eat? Yes. Zhuge Kongming did not even hesitate. He was about to starve to death. Chapter 116. The First Customer Gulp. The sound of Zhuge Kongming gulping could be heard clearly in the quiet supermarket, where even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. However, his childish face was filled with struggle, as if he was hesitating whether he should say it or not. If you wait a bit longer, then the instant noodles won't taste good. If you say it now, then I can give you an egg. Plus a ham. Zhuge Kongming shouted with a look of anticipation. Deal. This child might really be hungry. Even Yi Zichen couldn't bear to watch him wolf down the food. How could he be so hungry? In less than 3 minutes, Zhuge Kongming finished the bowl of instant noodles and even the soup. He patted his stomach in satisfaction and burped. A bottle of iced cola was handed in front of him. He looked up, snatched it over, and gulped it down. You ate and drank, so let's speak the truth. Yi Zichen was rather interested in this little fellow's background. I ran away from home. Zhuge Kongming frowned his immature little face and said, My family insisted on me learning some things that I don't like and wanted me to get engaged to someone I don't like. There was no helping it, so I snuck out when they weren't paying attention. It seems like he's a child from a rich family. That's right. If he wasn't from a rich family, then they really wouldn't be able to afford him. Then do you think that your family won't be able to find you by running over to my place? Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Zhuge Kongming instantly raised his head proudly. They definitely won't be able to find me, at least not in the near future. Yo, tell me the reason why you're so confident. My family is from the capital. Ugh. Yi Zichen directly spat out the cola in his mouth. He looked at the little fellow in front of him, who hadn't even reached adulthood yet, in shock. F***CK. He really is capable. He ran over to Bingcheng from the capital. This damn child is truly wild. Zhuge Kongming looked at the cola Yi Zichen spat out with a look of pity, as if he was regretting the cola that was wasted. After a long while, Yi Zichen finally suppressed the shock in his heart and squatted down in front of Zhuge Kongming. Little bro, not bad. You ran away from home quite thoroughly. It's all right. Zhuge Kongming smiled shyly. Huh. He slapped him on the head. This child really thinks I'm praising him. You're just a little kid. Instead of staying at home and going to school, you ran away on your own. You even ran so far away. Aren't you afraid that your family will be worried? TSK, they made me do so many things that I don't like. Do they care about me? Zhuge Kongming raised his head stubbornly. Yi Zichen glanced at him. It was indeed a little pitiful. Regardless of whether it was a political or business marriage, this group of children were living sacrifices. Then what do you want to do? Let me stay here. I can work for you. Yi Zichen hesitated. He definitely wouldn't chase this child away. It was already a miracle that such a small child could run from Beijing to Bingcheng alive. If he was allowed to run around outside, what would happen if something happened to him? After struggling for a while, Yi Zichen decided to let him stay. Since he was the child of a wealthy family, he definitely had connections. It was only a matter of time before he found him. When that time came, he would get Xiaohai and Dongfang Winnie to spread the news in their circle. It would be fine once the child's parents came to pick him up. It's not like I can't let you stay here. Big bro, tell me what you want me to do. Zhuge Kongming's eyes brightened. Just stay in this supermarket from now on. The second floor of the supermarket is livable. I'll buy you a bed tomorrow. You can sleep there. As for our supermarket, it doesn't sell to outsiders, understand? Doesn't sell? Zhuge Kongming was a bit confused. What was the point of opening a supermarket if it didn't sell? Don't care so much. If I say it's not for sale, then it's not for sale. Just stay here properly. Yi Zichen frowned. This damn child really has a lot of questions. Understood. I'll listen to Big Bro. Zhuge Kongming nodded repeatedly. Then you can sleep here tonight, but you have to put up with it for the night. No problem. Yi Zichen drove back home after handing the keys to the supermarket to the little fellow. With the addition of Lil Tiantian, Yi Rong's life became even richer, and she did not mention anything about going out to do anything again. When he entered the living room, he saw Lil Tiantian, Mother Yi, and Lil White playing happily. Zichen's back. Daddy. Tiantian leaped into Yi Zichen's arms with a giggle, while Lil White also stuck out his tongue and rubbed against him. After being nurtured by the Heavenly Court dog biscuit recently, Lil White seemed to be a bit bigger than before, and his fur also shined a bit brighter. As for the rest, there didn't seem to be any changes. After playing with Tiantian for a while, Yi Zichen sat on the sofa and took out his phone. There was still no news from the deities, causing him to feel a bit disappointed. However, Xia Kiki and Su Yin sent him quite a bit of messages. The content was none other than asking if he got the concert tickets. Yi Zichen thought about it for a while, then replied to Su Yin. I got the tickets. Buzz. Not long after the message was sent, Su Yin called. Is what you said true? Isn't it just a concert ticket? Is there a need for such a huge reaction? Yes. Kiki, Yi Zichen said that he got the concert tickets. What? Kiki bang. A huge sound suddenly sounded out from the other side of the phone. Yi Zichen's heart skipped a beat as he quickly asked, Are you okay? Ouch, it hurts. Xia Kiki's voice sounded out from the other side of the phone. Not long later, a rustling sound sounded out from the other side of the phone. Rish bro, you said that you got the tickets. Are they indoors? Yes. Yi Zichen was speechless. He couldn't help but comfort her when he thought about the huge sound just now. Are you okay just now? I'm fine, I just fell down. Xia Kiki gasped as she replied. I'll get the tickets from you tomorrow. Slap. The call ended. Yi Zichen was truly worried that she fell down when he heard the busy tone. Lu Jing also floated out and asked worriedly, Is Kiki fine? She should be fine, Yi Zichen answered ambiguously. Very quickly, he looked up at Lu Jing in surprise with a playful expression. Didn't you say that you were going to ignore me? Why did you come out again? T.S. This lady just came out to get some fresh air. Zoom. She went back into the dragon eye. This ghost girl is really cute. Yi Zichen couldn't help but shake his head with a smile. Then, his phone suddenly rang. WeChat. Yi Zichen's shoulders shook. He opened WeChat and saw that third Prince Neza appeared in the spokesperson group. Chapter 117. The Emperor's consort has spoken. Yi Zichen was extremely excited. After waiting for so long, the good news had finally arrived. Yes, create a chat group and add me and that customer into it. Why? Isn't it better to do it here? Third Prince Neza asked adorably. This is the endorsement group. Just a few of us are enough. Create a group and pull the customers in. They will be your customers, and I will give you a commission. Commissions? I don't understand. No matter what Great Immortal says, just do it. Ding dong. Not long later, third Prince Neza created a chat group. Other than him and Yi Zichen, there was also a food god in a chef hat. Third Prince Neza. Idealism is also the god of food. God of cookery. Xiao Xian is here. Followed by a row of cute emojis. It seemed that the culinary god had lowered his status quite a bit. But that was indeed the case. The culinary god status in the celestial court was indeed not high. Third Prince Neza, great deity, it's the culinary god who wants to buy from you. What are you looking for? Yi Zichen's initial judgment was that the food god shouldn't be buying snacks. There was a 90% chance that he wanted to buy daily necessities. Great Immortal, I want to buy some seasonings. As expected, he sighed in his heart. If he were to buy seasonings, the price would not be so high. More importantly, this thing was durable. If he asked for cultivation experience from him, it would be a bit of a loss. That's fine. I don't need you to pay me for the condiments. I have recently been interested in cooking. Cooking? In a mansion somewhere in the third heaven of the celestial court, the culinary god wore a chef's hat and stared blankly at the news for a long time. He had been in the heavenly court for so long, but he had never heard of any great immortal being interested in cooking. It was said that this heavenly venerable nameless lived in the same place as Tai Bai Jinxing, And he actually said that he liked to cook. Little deity is willing to hand over little deity's cooking experience to great deity. So straightforward. Yizichin had thought that the food god would hesitate for a while. He didn't think that he would give it to him so readily. All right, then send your cooking tips to me. I don't have the condiments with me. I'll send them to you later. No problem. Ding dong. A red packet appeared on the screen. Yizichin clicked on it. You have received a red envelope from the culinary god. Culinary god's cooking notes, X1. The culinary god was really generous. Other people gave out secret manuals one by one, but this guy gave out the whole book. Got it. Wait for the delivery. All right, great immortal. Little immortal will take his leave. As soon as he said that, the culinary god disappeared from the group. Ding dong. The person who sent him the message was third Prince Neza. Great immortal. I've successfully brought a customer, right? Forget it. Then what benefits can I get? Commercialized management was really poisonous to this group of deities. This cute little boy, Neza, had actually started to ask for benefits. His heart ached. However, Yizichin was not a stingy person. Neza played a huge part in getting the secret scripture of the god of food. He thought about it. I'll give you a limit of 1,000 cultivation experience here. Wow. Then can I buy a lot of snacks? Of course. Then I want 10 bottles of Nutrient Express and 6 packets of potato chips. Sure, but it'll take a while. All right. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Neza increased by 30. Current intimacy level, 230. Third Prince Neza seemed to be even more motivated after seeing the benefits. Yizichin clicked on his friend circle and saw that this little boy had also started to post pictures. All of a sudden, Yizichin smiled. It seems like a group of merchants will appear in the celestial realm in the future, noon of the next day. Rish bro. Yizichin stood in the mulberry forest in the school when he heard an excited shout. He looked up and saw Xia Kiki and Su Yin walk towards him side by side. More importantly, the surrounding gazes towards Yizichin became even weirder. There was an unwritten rule in the school's mulberry forest that the people who came here were definitely couples. Could it be that they were going to announce their relationship since they chose to meet here? Rish bro, did you wait for a long time? Susu and I bought cold drinks for you. Xia Kiki handed Yizichin a cup of Coke. Only then did he notice that both of them were holding a cup of Coke in their hands. The exclamations on the side became louder and louder. Yizichin received the Coke and scratched his head. Why did you choose to meet here, this place? What's wrong with it? Su Yin curled her lips, then swept her gaze across the surrounding students. Then, Su Yin and Xia Kiki hugged Yizichin's arms under the gazes of the other students. Wow! The students on the side instantly exploded. Yizichin gulped, then laughed dryly. Don't worry. You guys, we did it on purpose. Is that wrong? Su Yin raised her delicate chin. Xia Kiki also nodded. Susu and I did it on purpose. It wasn't the two of you. Yizichin was truly a bit confused. We did it on purpose. Could it be that the two of them planned all of this together? Doesn't that mean that Su Yin, Kiki, and I chatted a bit a few days ago? Su Yin smiled. Uh-huh. We chatted for a long time. Xia Kiki also nodded. In the end, gulp. Yizichin gulped. It seems like we decided to let you off easy. Su Yin replied with squinted eyes. Yizichin's body trembled, while his expression froze. Aren't you happy? Two school beauties like you at the same time, and they even acknowledged each other's existence. Aren't you feeling great? Xia Kiki also raised her head and snorted playfully. But don't get cocky too early. Susu and I are in an alliance right now, and we're on the same side. That's right. Xia Kiki was right. Yizichin did feel super. Awesome. The two school beauties of Polytechnic University liked him at the same time, and they were even able to be with him. Anyone could brag about this for their entire lives if it happened to them. But it was, what the hell was on the same side? That meant that the two of them wouldn't let anyone else get involved. Then what about Xiao Yumei and Huang Xingmei? There were 4 people who were pulling strings. Yizichin sneaked a glance at Su Yin and Xia Kiki, then asked in a testing manner, if there's anyone else, what did you say? Before Yizichin could finish, Su Yin was lit on fire. On the other hand, Xia Kiki was rather calm. She was only going to get involved later, so she didn't really mind it. Yi Zichen, I'm telling you, if you dare to have another woman outside. Yi Zichen gulped, while his entire body tensed up. If there are more than 5, then just wait to die. Blink. Shock. Shock. No, Suyin, what did you just say? Did I hear wrongly? Yi Zichen turned his head to look at Suyin, only to see her snort as she glared at him. I said, if you have more than 5 women outside, then just wait to die. And what if they don't? Then I can still accept it. At least we can each have a day. Chapter 118. The low EQ Gu Tian is here again. Such a dramatic ending was really unexpected. Yi Zichen looked at Su Yin, who had a bitter look on her face, and Xia Kiki, who also had a rather gloomy expression, before pulling them into his arms. Are you touched? If you are, then hurry up and give us the concert tickets. Su Yin and Xia Kiki, who were in his arms, suddenly struggled out and stretched out their hands to ask for tickets. There was something wrong with the script. At this time, shouldn't the 3 of them act a little coquettishly towards each other, while he promised them that he wouldn't mess around in the future to make these 2 beauties happy? What are you looking at? Give us the tickets. Howl. Women's thoughts are truly unfathomable. Yi Zichen took out 2 concert tickets from his pocket in confusion and placed them in the 2 girls' hands. All right, you can go now. The moment Yi Zichen got his ticket, he was chased away by the 2 of them. He strolled under the mulberry forest in the school, with a dumbfounded look on his face. His mind kept replaying the scene just now. What the hell? Are you happy now? Lu Jing flew in front of Yi Zichen with a frown. I really don't know what Kiki and that Su Yin were thinking. How could they let a scum like you benefit? How am I a scum? You already have a girlfriend, yet you still flirt outside. Isn't that scum? Lu Qing placed her hands on her waist and said arrogantly. Yi Zichen was rendered speechless by the wretched girl's words. He definitely wouldn't let down any of the women around him. However, it had to be said that this was a little unfair to them. Speechless, right? Lu Jing raised her head proudly. At that moment, a black shadow suddenly appeared in front of Yi Zichen. Brother Yi, little ghost girl. Gu Tian. Yi Zichen hadn't seen him in a long time. Of course, he didn't want to see him. His EQ was too low, and his words attracted too much attention. Why don't you just stay at your shopping mall? Why do you keep coming to our Polytechnic University? I was looking for you. Gu Tian pursed his lips and smiled. I even met sister-in-law on my way here earlier, and we chatted for a while. Little sister-in-law. This brat was definitely talking about Xia Kiki. What do you want from me? Just say it. Yi Zichen resisted the urge to hit him. Gu Tian raised his eyebrows. Don't worry. By the way, when I saw sister-in-law just now, there was a beauty standing beside her. When that beauty heard me call her little sister-in-law, she looked a little unhappy. She's still your sister-in-law. She'll be happy when she sees both of them. Wow, Brother Yi, you're really something. Gu Tian walked around Yi Zichen with his hands behind his back. You have such a cute ghost girl by your side, and 2 beauties who like you. You won't even let go of beauties and ghosts. Amazing. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. He squinted his eyes and glanced at Gu Tian with a smile. If you say another word of nonsense, believe it or not, I will beat you up. Why did you hit me? Am I not telling the truth? Don't stop me. Let me beat this grandson to death. Finally, Yi Zichen was stopped by Lu Jing. However, Gu Tian muttered in confusion. What's wrong? Why are you so excited? Yi Zichen raised his hand to hit Gu Tian. However, Lu Jing pulled him back and frowned towards Gu Tian. Can't you say a bit less? All right, but Brother Yi really, F*CKU for real. Bang. This time, even Lu Jing didn't stop him. This brat was truly asking for a beating. Yi Zichen kicked Gu Tian's butt, causing him to get beaten up. 2 people squatted in front of the cold drink store in Polytechnic University. Gu Tian sniffled as he held a cup of iced Coke and looked innocently at Yi Zichen. Why did you hit me? Why wouldn't I hit you? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. To be honest, this brat was rather resistant to beatings. If it was a normal person, they would already be lying in the hospital. This brat was actually able to sit here and drink with him. Yi Zichen ignored Gu Tian's resentful gaze and lit a cigarette for himself, then glanced at him. What exactly did you find me for? Gu Tian's expression turned serious when he mentioned that. A while ago, I saw an evil ghost that the underworld didn't take away in a haunted house. I can't subdue it by myself, so I wanted Brother Yi to come with me. I knew that Gu Tian didn't find me for anything good, but I didn't think that it would be something like this. Haunted house. Evil ghost. Only someone sick in the head would go. This is the haunted house that you were talking about? Yi Zichen put his hands on his waist and looked at the house in front of him. The house in front of him seemed to be quite old. There were no windows or doors, and he could feel a faint chill when he got closer. This is it. Compared to Yi Zichen's casual nature, Gu Tian was clearly much more vigilant. He had been here a few times, so he knew very well just how ferocious the guy inside was. Then let's go in and take a look. Yi Zichen was rather interested in this evil ghost. He had seen the black and white impermanences catch ghosts several times. He didn't think that there would be a ghost that could escape from them. Thus, he wanted to see just what this evil ghost looked like. It felt a bit different from the outside, but the moment he entered this crappy house, creepy, the moment Yi Zichen stepped into the abandoned manor, he felt all the hairs on his body stand up. He couldn't help but circulate his protective chi and walk forward step by step. Where's the evil ghost you were talking about? Why haven't I seen it yet? Yi Zichen walked around the house with Gu Tian for a few minutes, but he didn't see any sign of the evil ghost. It might have gone asleep. Bang! Yi Zichen raised his hand and knocked Gu Tian's head. Are you *King kidding me? Ghost sleep? Who's kidding you? Gu Tian said with a troubled expression. Could it be that the little ghost girl beside you doesn't sleep? She... Crack! A clear sound suddenly sounded out from within the mansion. Gu Tian and Yi Zichen's expressions instantly tensed up. After looking around, the two of them set their gaze on the door in front of them. It seems to have come from here, right? I think so. Gu Tian gulped and said. Bang! Yi Zichen didn't think too much about it. He kicked the door open, and the two of them charged in. Ah! A scream sounded out from within the room the moment the door was broken open. Yi Zichen and Gu Tian looked towards the source of the sound. You're not allowed to look. A girl squatted in the corner of the room, peeing. Lucy, why are you here? Yi Zichen was confused. The sound just now should have been caused by her stepping on something in the room. But why did this girl come to this crappy place? Could this be her house? Why do you care? Hurry up and turn around. Lucy's face was covered in red. Lucy's face was completely red. Only then did Yi Zichen react and drag Gu Tian around. The moment he turned around, Lu Jing, who was in the dragon eye, suddenly shouted, I'm out. What? Yi Zichen suddenly turned around. Chapter 119. Subduing ghosts. We can't let it succeed. Gu Tian frowned. This kind of evil spirit loved Yin Qi the most. The Yin energy in a woman's body was the most abundant. If it succeeded, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yi Zichen frowned, then quickly ran over. Who asked you to turn around? Before Lucy even put on her pants, she saw Yi Zichen run in front of her. Hugging Lucy, he clenched his right hand into a fist and punched the shadow. Oh, a cold voice sounded out. Yi Zichen didn't care if the ghost was male or female and kicked in the crotch. However, at that moment, Lucy's lower body was practically naked, and Yi Zichen's hands when he grabbed her were rogue. Pa Lucy suddenly slapped Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen, who was in a battle of wits with the evil ghost, was instantly confused by the slap. Are you sick? You're the one who's sick. I'm going to call the police. You molested a young girl. Lucy screamed, causing Yi Zichen to snicker. His gaze swept over her body without any scruples. Are young girls so well-developed these days? Yi Zichen, Lu Jing, who was in the dragon eye, exclaimed. Yi Zichen smiled nonchalantly, then punched the evil ghost's nose without even turning his head. Gu Tian, play with this little fellow for a while. Gu Tian was shocked. He had watched his family exorcise ghosts for so many years, but he had never seen Yi Zichen fight a ghost directly like this. Nodding his head subconsciously, Gu Tian charged towards the evil ghost. Yi Zichen also put Lucy to the side and opened WeChat. What are you doing? Lucy immediately tried to snatch Yi Zichen's phone. I'm telling you, don't think about threatening me with photos. If you dare to take pictures, I'll call the police. Do you have a persecutory delusion? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at her in annoyance, then opened the yin-yang box in his phone. There was also a ghost-controlling talisman that white impermanence had given him. He wondered if it would be useful against this guy. Extraction. A pale yellow talisman fell into his hand. On the other side, Gu Tian took out a peachwood sword out of nowhere and waved it at the evil ghost. When he saw this, Yi Zichen only had one thought. Low. Too low end. Pooey. Yi Zichen spat onto the sigil, then leaped up and stuck it onto the ghost's head. The moment he touched it, the ghost stopped moving. The talisman on his forehead gradually dimmed until it completely disappeared from his forehead. At the same time, the ghost-controlling talisman returned to the yin-yang box on the phone. The only change was that the number of demon controllers remaining had increased to 2. Come here. Yi Zichen hooked his finger towards the evil ghost. After the ghost-controlling sigil entered his body, the evil ghost had to listen to his orders. Under Gu Tian's shocked gaze, the wraith slowly turned back into its original form and walked towards Yi Zichen while bowing. Boss. The original body of the evil spirit was also a muscular man. From the looks of it, there was an 80% chance that he was a soldier. Of course, he couldn't rule out the possibility of mercenary groups. Gu Tian was dumbfounded when he heard the word boss. Yi Zichen subdued the ghost. It was true that they could all see ghosts, but Lucy could not. Who are you talking to? A ghost. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance and cursed. Girl, you truly don't know how to tell good from bad, do you know? If Lousy didn't save you just now, don't mention pulling up your pants, you might have directly died. Do you understand? Who are you trying to trick? Lucy twitched her mouth. Yi Zichen looked towards the evil ghost with his eyes. Let the friend over there feel your existence. All right. The burly man clenched his fists and walked towards Lucy. Not long after, Lucy felt an unbearable coldness surrounding her. She couldn't help but shiver, then screamed and ran to Yi Zichen's side. You believe me now? Lucy hugged her arms tightly and trembled. Her entire face turned pale, and she was unable to say anything for a long time. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled, then glanced down her body. Girl, you didn't pull up your pants. After leaving the old manor, the evil ghost was completely subdued by Yi Zichen. Since it was not a good idea to keep calling him evil ghost, they gave him the name Dahe. It was a perfect match for Xiaobai at home. Gu Tian's gaze towards Yi Zichen turned even weirder, while Lucy did the same. You didn't take any pictures with your phone, did you? Lucy crossed her arms and stared at Yi Zichen. If you take a picture, then you're dead. I'm not interested in young girls. Yi Zichen smiled playfully. When the man's face turned bright red, he laughed softly. What are you doing here? Don't you know this is a haunted house? What haunted house? This is my home. Lucy raised her head and said, I haven't sued you for trespassing. Yi Zichen glanced towards Gu Tian. When he saw Gu Tian shrug, Yi Zichen immediately understood that Gu Tian didn't know that there was someone living there. He looked Lucy up and down. It was a miracle that the girl had lived here all this time without any trouble. What are you looking at? I don't live here. This is a very old house. I came here to find something. Oh, then you're pretty amazing. You peed and pooped in your own home. If your parents found out, wouldn't they beat you to death? I couldn't help it. Lucy raised her eyebrows. What's more, that place used to be the bathroom. Is that so? Yi Zichen looked at her meaningfully. Lucy bit her lips, then bumped into him with her cheeks and glared. I'm telling you, if I find out that you... Just you wait. She ran away in a flash. Yi Zichen thought that the girl was shy, but he heard Blackie, who was on the side, speak up. Boss, you lost something. Lost something? Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment. Blackie nodded. When the girl bumped into you just now, she stole a few pieces of paper from your pocket. Yi Zichen reached into his pocket, which contained Yang Yusher's concert tickets. Then he checked the number of tickets left. As expected, there were 4 missing. Wow, this woman, after running for 5 or 6 minutes, Lucy finally stopped and twitched her mouth proudly. Stupid, you don't even know that you lost your concert tickets. Although she knew that stealing other people's things wasn't good, but That damn guy saw her like that. So what if she took a few of his concert tickets? Thinking that, Lucy instantly calmed down, then took out her phone and dialed a number. Chapter 120. The so-called Goo family. The evil spirit has been subdued. Why are you still following me? Yi Zichen was truly a bit speechless. No matter where he went, Gu Tian would follow him. He was like a bug that couldn't be shaken off. Brother, please accept me as your little brother. Gu Tian suddenly spoke with a sincere expression. As a lackey, Yi Zichen smiled wryly and shook his head. Is there something wrong with your head? What is my status, and what is your status? You want to be my lackey? Yes. Gu Tian nodded with certainty, and there was even a trace of adoration in his eyes. Brother, you're really too cool. Our Gu family has dealt with ghosts for so long, but we've never seen anyone refine ghosts like you. Especially that talisman of yours. What kind of talisman is that? Why is he so obedient when you slap it on him? You want to know? Yi Zichen smiled playfully, causing Gu Tian to nod like a chick pecking at grains. I want to know, but I don't want to tell you. Yi Zichen's expression instantly darkened. Hurry up and F***CK off. I don't have time for you right now. If you don't leave, Blackie, the evil ghost, Blackie, who was just subdued by Yi Zichen, immediately walked over. Dahei's body shape was relatively large, and it was also extremely tall. Standing in front of Gu Tian, he was like a small mountain. He gulped down a mouthful of saliva. Gu Tian smiled embarrassedly as he took 2 steps back. All right, I'm leaving now. Let's keep in touch on the phone. Only after Gu Tian left did Blackie walk over with an expressionless face, and he curled his lips towards Gu Tian's back. Boss, is that kid from the Gu family? You know the Gu family? Yi Zichen was slightly stunned. I know a little. Dahei nodded noncommittally. Tell me. He had always been rather curious about Gu Tian's origins. The Gu family, in particular, was able to communicate with ghosts. Could it be that the mountain Taoist priests on television really existed? Dahei's face darkened. It held its cheek with its right hand and frowned. The Gu family does not belong to the modern world. Their family can be called a hidden family. To put it bluntly, the clan is proficient in the profound technique. To be able to see ghosts, to be able to catch ghosts, it should be classified in that place. That place. Yi Zichen's expression tensed when he heard Blackie mention that place as well. What kind of place is that? Tell me everything you know. Boss, I'm not too sure either. Dahei shook its head and smiled bitterly. When I was on a mission when I was alive, I heard the captain mention it a few times. However, what we can be sure of is that the people in that place are absolutely transcendent existences. Even our captain is filled with reverence when he mentions that place. That is definitely not a place that ordinary people can come into contact with. From what you've said, you seem to have quite a story. Yi Zichen was rather displeased that he wasn't able to learn the secret of that place from Blackie. But according to Dahei's tone, it was not an ordinary person when it was alive. Boss, I can't say. He's already dead. What's there to hide? Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile, while Blackie replied seriously. We signed a confidentiality agreement when we were alive. Even in death, I still have to keep that promise. I'm sorry, boss. I really can't tell you. To be honest, Yi Zichen was shocked by Blackie's serious expression just now. He wasn't exaggerating, but he really did feel a righteous aura just now, causing Blackie's figure to instantly become a lot more majestic. For someone to be able to do that, Yi Zichen felt that Blackie should have served the country when it was alive. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows with a smile instead of asking about Blackie's background. From the looks of it, you shouldn't be a bad person when you were alive? Then why did you go and capture Lucy just now? Capture her, Blackie said in confusion. I didn't want to capture her. Then just now, I just woke up and was about to walk around. I didn't expect to bump into you guys. Blackie was speechless, especially when he thought about Yi Zichen's kick. Although he was a ghost, a kick in the crotch still hurt. So it's like that, huh? Yi Zichen laughed dryly. So it turns out they misunderstood. Yi Zichen patted the dragon eye in his pocket and called Lu Jing out. Blackie was stunned when he saw Lu Jing. Do you specialize in collecting ghosts like us who didn't die yet? You didn't die yet as well? What do you think? If I did, then wouldn't I have been captured by the black and white impermanence already? I even met the white impermanence a few days ago. I told her to take me to the underworld, but she didn't. Blackie revealed a helpless expression. Don't think that it was easy for him to say the black and white impermanence. He was an absolute atheist when he was alive. Even after he died, he still maintained his atheism. However, as time passed, he noticed this world was different from the one he knew before. Yizichin nodded in understanding, then patted Blackie's shoulder a few times. Don't panic. Follow me properly. I'll revive you guys in the future if I have the chance. Really? Big Black glared and said, if you can really revive me, then my life is yours. Isn't it now? Yizichin couldn't help but smile. He raised his eyebrows when he saw Blackie's slightly anxious expression. You two have to get along well from now on. But according to the timeline, Lu Jing will be your boss from now on. Wow, I also have a little brother. Lu Jing flew around Yizichin excitedly. Blackie nodded without showing any signs of displeasure. No problem. In a business suite of a high-class hotel in Ice City. The white-haired elder Hua reported the recent happenings in the Gu clan to Gu Tian with his hands behind his back. You're saying that I've been removed as the successor of the family? Gu Tian chuckled and grabbed an apple from his side. His face was full of disapproval, as if the position of the family's young patriarch was not attractive to him at all. Young Master Little Tian, don't you have any ambition at all? Elder Hua sighed at the side. This young master had always been ostracized when he was still in the clan. She had thought that he had chosen to hide in Ice City as a way to advance by retreating. However, from the looks of it, he didn't seem to care about the position of young family head at all. Of course I have ambition. Gu Tian sighed lightly and said with a smile, but you must have strength, right? In the family, big brother and third brother are both above me in terms of means and talent. What should I do? You can't just give up like that, right? Elder Hua sighed. Young Master Little Tian, if you want the position of young family head, then this old fellow can help you to the very end. Elder Hua, no need. Gu Tian shook his head with a smile. Do you still remember Yizichin? Of course, that brat. Gu Tian raised his hand to stop Elder Hua before he spoke with a light smile. Chapter 121. Bai Yang, comes to Yizichin, stood on the second floor of the supermarket and pointed at the wooden bed that he bought from the second-hand market. This bed looks a little shabby, but I'll make do with it. The bedding is brand new. Zhuge Kongming didn't show any signs of disdain. He nodded his head excitedly and grinned. Thank you, Brother Yi. Although this little guy's origin was unknown, his personality was still very likable. Yizichin reached out and rubbed his head. Is there any problem with the supermarket? Yes. Zhuge Kongming wrinkled his nose and said, in the morning, a few people came to our supermarket to collect protection fees, but I beat them away. I collected protection fees, but you beat them away? Yizichin was momentarily stunned. He didn't think that the little fellow was lying to him. Collecting protection fees happened everywhere. It was a common sight. He didn't expect this little guy to be so fierce. He was able to chase away those who could collect protection fees. I practiced a few moves with Grandpa before. Before he could finish his sentence, there was a sudden violent knocking on the door downstairs. Yizichin and company followed the sound and hurried over. The moment they arrived at the entrance, Zhuge Kongming frowned. Here we go again. That's them. Yizichin's tone was rather unfriendly. Zhuge Kongming also took 2 steps forward and shouted with his hands on his waist. Do you still want to get beaten up? The people outside froze. It seemed that this little guy had given them quite a deep lesson back then. At this moment, Bai Yang walked out from the group of people holding clubs and snorted. Yizichin, if you don't open the door, then don't blame me for being rude. Brother Yi? Zhuge Kongming turned around to look. Yizichin pursed his lips with a smile, then walked to the door and opened it. Master Bai, grandson, are you going to admit defeat? Bai Yang narrowed his eyes and snorted. His arm was still wrapped in bandages. Obviously, the injury from the other day at the club hadn't completely healed. You really made me look for you. I didn't expect you to be hiding here. Uh-huh. Yizichin nodded. Seeing Yizichin's stubbornness, Bai Yang reached out and slapped him. Bang! You can't hit my brother, Yi. In the blink of an eye, Even Yi Zichen was unable to see Zhuge Kongming's movements clearly before Bai Yang shot out like a cannonball. However, Dahei's pupils shrank as it exclaimed, "Octane blast!" Zhuge Kongming, who had been stubbornly raising his head, suddenly turned his head. His eyes flashed as he glared at Dahei. However, it was only for a moment, and no one noticed at all. Yi Zichen's face was also filled with shock. This little fellow's battle prowess is truly extraordinary. What are you waiting for? Smash! This is my painstaking effort. I can't let you touch it. With that, Yi Zichen turned into a blur. Dong! 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 The group of hooligans that followed Bai Yang all fell to the ground. Yi Zichen clapped his hands and squatted down in front of Bai Yang. Bai Yang looked at him as if he was looking at a monster and shouted, "You'd better not touch me, or I'll make you suffer." "That's great. I like takeaway food that I can't finish. That way it won't be wasted." Slap. Yi Zichen slapped Bai Yang's face. The force of the slap instantly caused the entire left side of his face to swell up. "Young Master Bai, why are you doing this? I already told you very clearly that day. What did you come for this time? Do you want revenge? You're dead. You're dead." Bai Yang pointed his finger at Yi Zichen. Crack. Yi Zichen broke Bai Yang's finger without any hesitation. At the same time, he slapped Bai Yang once again. "I don't know if I'm dead or not. I only know that if you say one more useless sentence to me, then you're dead." With that, Dahei floated in front of Bai Yang under Yi Zichen's signal. An unbearable coldness caused Bai Yang to involuntarily shiver. He stared at Yi Zichen, who had a faint smile on his face, and cowered. "I was wrong, huh?" Yi Zichen was stunned. "Young Master Yi, let me go just this once." This change in attitude was way too *king fast. Yi Zichen thought that this grandson could last a few rounds with him. He didn't think that he would be scared so quickly and completely. Yi Zichen scratched his head, then stood up from the ground and looked down at Bai Yang. "Reason. If young Master Yi lets me go this time, then I can compensate young Master Yi." Oh, Yi Zichen was rather lacking in money. Without the fiery eyes of truth, he wouldn't be able to make a living recently. The money for the supermarket was spent by Su Yun, and the pocket money he had was given by Xiao Yumei. He still needed money. How much? 100,000. Bai Yang crossed his two index fingers with a trembling hand. Yi Zichen kicked him and cursed. "Do you think that your dog life is only worth 100,000 yuan? 200,000. Bang. Yi Zichen kicked him again. 300,000. Bai Yang continuously increased the price. Yi Zichen didn't have the patience to waste time with him, so he directly raised a finger. 1,000,000 in exchange for your life. You can also take your lackeys with you. 1,000,000. Bai Yang's face was ashen. How could he have so much pocket money on hand? "I don't want to repeat it. If you feel like you can't take it out." Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled, then grabbed one of Bai Yang's fingers. Crack. I'll give. Bai Yang practically clenched his teeth and shouted. He took out his phone with a trembling hand and shouted into the phone. "Dad, hurry up and send 1,000,000 over." Bai Yang hung up the phone, then endured the piercing pain from his finger and said, "Young Master Yi, my dad will bring money to redeem me later. Is that so?" Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled like a poisonous snake. "Why do I feel like your dad will bring people over?" Bai Yang's Adam's apple bobbed up and down. He had indeed used a secret code to tell his father to bring people over. Only the father and son knew about the code. How did Yi Zichen know? Just as Bai Yang was struggling in his heart, Yi Zichen reached out and patted his shoulders. "Don't be nervous. I'm just joking." A good half an hour passed. Bai Yang's two broken fingers were practically swollen like steam buns. During this period of time, Yi Zichen did not punch or kick him. It was as if he was truly waiting for Bai Yang's dad to give him money. "Grandson, you'll cry later." Bai Yang glared fiercely at Yi Zichen's back, while Lu Jing twitched her mouth in midair. Lu Jing, who floated in midair, twitched her mouth. "Why did you keep him?" Dahei also nodded noncommittally. Based on its character, it would be considered clean if it didn't beat the *T out of him. Yi Zichen, who was sitting on a chair with his legs crossed, suddenly smiled. Chapter 122. Instigation: a gray Mercedes-Benz, followed by 3 black Jetta, appeared in everyone's line of sight. The eyes of Bai Yong, who was lying on the ground, lit up as he scrambled in front of the Mercedes-Benz. 10-odd well-trained men with black short sleeves and clubs got out of the Jetta, while a middle-aged fatty also got out of the Mercedes-Benz. "Dad!" Bai Yong cried out when he saw the middle-aged fatty. The fatty looked at his finger, while a dark expression surfaced on his oily face. "Who did it?" "Dad, it's that brat." Bai Yong resisted the pain from his finger and pointed towards Yi Zichen, who was sitting at the door. "Grandson, let's see how you're going to run this time." Bai Yong thought hatefully in his heart. At the same time, Zhuge Kongming also pursed his lips and stood in front of Yi Zichen. However, at that moment, Yi Zichen smiled playfully. "You're Bai Yang's dad?" The middle-aged fatty's shoulders trembled when he heard that. He slowly raised his head and saw Yi Zichen raise his eyebrows at him with a faint smile. Yi Zichen, if you don't want to die, then hurry up and kowtow and apologize to Grandpa. Otherwise, you'll be in for a treat." Bai Yong cursed first. He had quite a lot of resentment towards Yi Zichen right now. Yi Zichen stole his woman and even dared to hit him. "Dad, kill this brat!" Slap. The middle-aged fatty raised his hand and slapped Bai Yang's face. The strength of the slap was so great that it actually spun him around. "Hurry up and apologize to young Master Yi." Bai Yong covered his face in confusion. The Hulk who got off the Jetta was also a bit confused by the scene and didn't know what to do with his club. Yi Zichen slowly walked over with a warm smile. The fatty quickly lowered his head and pressed down on Bai Yang's head with his right hand. "Bai Dahai, you really gave birth to a good son." A thin layer of sweat instantly appeared on Bai Dahai's head. Yi Zichen gave Zhuge Kongming a look, then took out a pack of tissues from the supermarket and chucked it in front of Fatty Bai. "Wipe it." "Thank you, young Master Yi." Fatty Bai bowed and replied. Bai Yong glared at him and scolded. Bai Yong, who was on the side, glared and cursed. "Dad, this grandson is nothing. I already investigated him. He's just a poor student. What are you doing?" Bang! A kick landed on Bai Yang's body. Fatty Bai was really anxious. His son was too retarded. He had already done this much. Could it be that he still couldn't see anything? "Dad, don't call me. Go apologize to young Master Yi." Fatty Bai shouted with a red neck. He knew very well just how vicious Yi Zichen was, and how ruthless he was. He had done this in order to preserve his son's life. But this son, no need. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile, then pointed at Bai Yang's finger. "I suggest you get someone to send him to the hospital to reattach his finger. As for you, I want to talk to you." Young Master Bai Dahai didn't know what Yi Zichen meant, but at that moment, Yi Zichen had already returned to the supermarket. He narrowed his eyes and licked his lips. After signaling his men to take Bai Yong to the hospital, he walked into the supermarket alone. There are no chairs in the supermarket. Just stand there. Yi Zichen, who was sitting at the cashier counter, said. Fatty Bai looked around when he entered the room, then nodded repeatedly when he heard Yi Zichen's words. "No problem, my back isn't good. I'll be fine after standing for a while." Hee. The corners of Yi Zichen's mouth curled up slightly, and he tapped the table with his fingers. "Do you know why I intentionally made you come here?" "I don't." Bai Dahai shook his head with a dry smile. "Actually, I've always been rather curious. Why did Director Bai give me the jewelry store that you worked so hard for half your life without any hesitation?" Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and lit a cigarette for himself. "Even if I buy enough ores, you won't have any jade in storage. This will cause your jewelry store's reputation to drop and your profits to suffer. But it seems like you can persist." Fatty Bai, who was standing on the side, rolled his bean-sized eyes. "Young Master Yi is right, but I'm already old. I don't have the drive of a young person. If I work with young Master Yi, although the jewelry store isn't mine, as the second shareholder of the jewelry store, I'll get even more profit than when I was working alone. Businessmen all do it to earn money." Bang! Before Fatty Bai finished, Yi Zichen already slammed the table and stood up. This slap caused Fatty Bai, who was sitting opposite him, to tremble in fear. "Bai Dahai, you still don't want to tell me the truth, right?" More and more sweat appeared on Fatty Bai's face. He didn't even bother to wipe the sweat off his face and allowed it to drip onto the floor. His entire body tensed up while his heart beat intensely. Don't be nervous. At that moment, Yi Zichen stood up once again and took out a few tissues for him. Hurry up and wipe it off. Look at how much you're sweating. You should lose weight. Young Master Yi is right. Fatty Bai was clearly out of breath when he said this. His eyes flashed as he wiped the sweat off his face. Then he said softly, Young Master Yi, my unfilial son offended you. I apologize in his place. With that, Fatty Bai bowed deeply towards Yi Zichen. Young people are always impulsive. Yi Zichen smiled in a very friendly manner. Fatty Bai also nodded with a coy smile. But gulp. Young Master Yi, what exactly do you want to say? Just say it directly. Fatty Bai's heart was about to explode. He didn't know what Yi Zichen wanted to say to him at all. If he continued to be tortured by Yi Zichen like this, then he really didn't know whether he would go crazy or not. Since you said that, then I'll satisfy you. Yi Zichen's playful smile suddenly disappeared. He returned to the cashier counter and directly took out a document from under the table, then chucked it towards Bai Dahai. See for yourself. Bai Dahai picked up the document in confusion. However, when he saw the photo on the first page, bang. Young Master Yi, I'm innocent. Bai Dahai knelt onto the floor with a thud. His pupils contracted as he shouted that he was innocent. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and leaned back on the chair. Stop pretending. I know everything. Young Master Yi, I know. Your wife and daughter are in Haowen's hands. You only chose to cooperate with him because you had no other choice. However, I can take your wife and daughter back from his hands. Do you know what to do? Zoom. Bai Dahai, who was kneeling on the floor, suddenly stood up and said with a serious expression with bloodshot eyes, Young Master Yi, what do you want to do? I will completely cooperate with you. Chapter 123. King Qingguang was captured by Dahai, told Yi Zichen everything about the plan between him and Haowen. He did not hide anything, and the contents were pretty much the same as what Dong Feng when he said. Only then did Yi Zichen stop worrying. This grandson had truly surrendered. After sending him away, Yi Zichen remembered that third Prince Neza and the god of food's goods had not been sent yet. Scan. Ding dong. Third Prince Neza's red packet. Scan. Ding dong. The god of food's red packet. After Yi Zichen marked all the red packets with his name, he left the chat group. At that moment, Su Yan's call came. Yi Zichen hung up after chatting for a bit. He looked at Zhuge Kongming, who was beside him, and patted his head. I'm leaving. Stay here and look after the house properly. No problem. Zhuge Kongming giggled. In order to ensure this kid's safety, Yi Zichen intentionally left Blackie here as well. So boring. Do you want to chat for a bit? The moment Yi Zichen left the supermarket, Zhuge Kongming suddenly pursed his lips into a smile and said softly to Blackie, who was in midair. Yi Zichen naturally did not know the situation in the supermarket. At that moment, he was standing in front of the girls' dormitory with a look of confusion. When Su Yan called him and told him that she didn't want the tickets for the concert anymore, it was clearly them who acted like they had to get the tickets. Now that they didn't want it anymore, he was a bit confused. Women's thoughts were truly hard to understand. Not long later, Su Yan walked out of the girls' dormitory. What is it? You don't want the tickets for the concert anymore? Yi Zichen was confused. Su Yan smiled and nodded. Yeah, I don't want it anymore. Yeah, I don't want it. You can have this ticket. Slap. Su Yan slapped the 2 concert tickets into Yi Zichen's hands. Yi Zichen was very confused as he held the 2 tickets in his hands. What did I do to make you unhappy? Yi Zichen asked carefully. That shouldn't be the case. The atmosphere between them was so good at noon. They didn't see each other after that, so there was no reason for her to be angry. Su Yan giggled when she saw Yi Zichen's careful look. No, it's just that my roommate got 4 concert tickets from somewhere. Coco and I thought about it. It's a waste to leave the ticket with us, so why don't we return it to you? Perhaps someone in your dorm might need it. Also an infield ticket? Yeah. As they spoke, Su Yan's phone rang. My roommate told me to go back to play poker. I'm going to hang up. Oh. Yi Zichen stood blankly on the spot and nodded. Su Yan, who was about to enter the dorm, suddenly turned back. She kissed him on the cheek. Bye-bye. Yi Zichen's face was covered in a silly smile as he watched Su Yan return to the dorm. It seemed like he didn't lose anything. Ever since Yi Zichen rose up in the alliance, his roommates have been clinging onto him tightly. As soon as he entered the room, his roommate yelled at him to turn on the computer. Since he had nothing better to do, Yi Zichen turned on his computer and prepared to play a few rounds with them. But at this moment, the phone on the table rang. Your intimacy level with white impermanence increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 400. You obtained 3,000 heaven and earth merits. Your position in the underworld has been promoted. Current position, level 3, Ghost Servant. Yi Zichen was shocked when he saw these two messages. Then, White Impermanence sent him a message. King Qingguang's birthday banquet has ended. Yi, what you doing? Hurry up and go online. Kong Peng shouted. I'm not playing anymore. You guys go ahead. Yi Zichen jumped onto the bed and clicked on his chat with White Impermanence. It seems like King Qingguang likes your present a lot. Yeah, King Qingguang was rather happy when he saw that carton of cigarettes, and even praised me. It's just that the birthday banquet went rather. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he saw White Impermanence's message. Praising you is a good thing. What's wrong with the birthday banquet? You also know that the underworld is controlled by the heavenly court. There are clear rules that underworld officials are not allowed to hold birthday banquets. But it was fine in the past. The heavenly court wouldn't know at all, but this time the heavenly court suddenly found out. There was no helping it, so the birthday banquet could only end abruptly. F*CK. Didn't I leak the secret? Back then, he had unintentionally leaked the information to Geezer Tai Bai. He didn't think that it would cause so much trouble. Then what happened to King Qingguang? King Qingguang was brought to the heavenly court by Tai Bai jinxing. I wonder what will happen. Right now, the other 9 Yama Kings of the 10 Yama Kings are gathered together to discuss a strategy. If the heavenly court doesn't let him go, then we, the underworld, might bring people over to snatch him. So serious. Yi Zichen scratched his head. He didn't see such a deep conflict between the heavenly court and the underworld when he read Journey to the West. Why did he find out that they seemed to be enemies the moment he interacted with them? That's right. Who would want to be a lackey for their entire life? Perhaps those guys in the underworld had enough of being grandsons, so they wanted to be the big brother. However, Yi Zichen definitely didn't want to see the heavenly court and the underworld fighting. His little supermarket had just started to improve in the heavenly court. If they F*King fought, then how was he supposed to earn cultivation experience by selling goods? White Impermanence, you have to tell the 9 Yama Kings not to get excited. Neither side benefits if they fight. Yeah, White Impermanence clearly agreed with his words. White Impermanence obviously agreed with his words and said, I don't want to fight either, but I don't have any say in the underworld. I'm just a level 7 ghost servant. I haven't even reached the level of a ghost messenger. How could the 9 Yama Kings care about me? There were 10 levels in the underworld, and above level 10 were ghost messengers. It was pretty much the same in the heavenly court. There were 10 levels of celestial officials, and above level 10 were sky immortals. The method of promotion was very simple. It was cultivation experience and heaven and earth merits. Once they accumulated a certain amount, they would be promoted. A level 7 ghost servant wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. However, compared to the 9 Yama Kings, it was indeed like a shrimp. Yi Zichen sat on the bed and scratched his head. Should I tell Tai Bai jinxing that the underworld wants to rebel? As soon as this thought appeared in his mind, he discarded it. If Tai Bai jinxing, that damn geezer, told him, then he would definitely bring the heavenly army and flatten the underworld. He was clearly such a kind elder in Tai Bai jinxing's previous life. Why did he become so violent now? It seems like I'm the only one who can solve this problem. I might even be able to play the role of a mediator between the underworld and the heavenly court. How about this? White Impermanence. Add me into your group. I have a way to save King Qingguang. One moment. White Impermanence, who had a trusted intimacy level, trusted Yi Zichen's words unconditionally. Not long later. Ding dong. Chapter 124. Transaction. The 10 Infernal Kings actually took the initiative to add him as a friend. Actually, Yi Zichen just wanted to use the chance to get into the underworld's friend circle and save King Qingguang along the way in order to gain some good karma in the underworld. Now, King Chujiang directly added him as a friend. It was rumored that King Chujiang was in charge of the second hall of hell, an existence second only to King Qingguang. Confirm. The first thing he did was to check the intimacy level. 100. Yi Zichen instantly calmed down when he saw the number. At least it wasn't cold. Ding dong. Yi Zichen thought that King Chujiang would send him a message, but he didn't expect him to directly create a group and add white impermanence as well. King Chujiang. White impermanence. You said he's the one who can save King Qingguang? Idealism white impermanence. Yes, it's him. King Chujiang. Idealism. You're not a member of the underworld. This king has just checked the records of the 10 infernal kings, and you're not among them. Who are you? How dare you say that you can help King Qingguang escape? It seems like King Chujiang is a very cautious person. He actually went to investigate Yi Zichen's identity right away. It was impossible to pretend to be someone from the underworld. If he said that he was someone from the heavenly court, he might be beaten to death by King Chujiang, and he might even implicate white impermanence. Yi Zichen thought about it for a while, then answered truthfully, I'm just a mortal. Mortal? How can mortals recognize the people of the underworld? It's none of your business. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at his phone. The 10 Yama Kings were always so arrogant, asking all sorts of questions. Even when he was chatting with the great sage, he hadn't been this restrained. You dare to speak to this king like this? What happened? Yi Zichen replied in annoyance. Wow, you're really amazing. It seemed like he was the one asking her to do something, but he made it seem like she owed him something. I'm telling you, King Chujiang, don't use the underworld's tricks on me. It won't work, understand? A mere mortal actually dares to be so arrogant. Aren't you afraid that I'll mark you down in the book of life and death and let you die a miserable death? Oh. King Chujiang sent a question mark. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and sent a message. Don't scare me here. I'll tell you clearly. I can help King Qingguang escape. Do you need any help? Why should I believe you? I don't care if you believe me or not. He was really giving him some face. This was giving him the ability to save King Qingguang, and he still had to gain his trust. Ding dong. As the chat group fell into silence, white impermanence suddenly sent him a private message. King Chujiang's temper is the worst among the 10 Yama Kings, and he's also the most suspicious. He won't like it if you talk to him like that. This kind of person is spoiled. After being the boss for so long, he really thinks that no one can control him. You don't have to worry. He won't dare to do anything to me. He'll have to ask me for help. As soon as the message was sent, King Chujiang appeared in the group. How are you going to help King Qingguang escape? That's none of your business. Yi Zichen sent the message mercilessly, then quickly followed it up with another. I'll save King Qingguang. As for you, we need to talk about the bargaining chips. Don't be unwilling. If the heavenly court really does detain King Qingguang, then you guys will definitely rebel. Brat, don't say random things. The underworld has always been led by the heavenly court. It was clear that words like rebelling could not be spoken carelessly, especially since King Chujiang was still suspicious of Yi Zichen's identity as someone from the heavenly court. Since King Qingguang was taken away by the people from the heavenly court, the underworld was in a mess. Perhaps Yi Zichen was a spy sent by the heavenly court to get information from the 10 Yama Kings. Then he could directly detain all of them as evidence. Fine, I don't care who the underworld is led by. I'm just saying that if you want to save King Qingguang, then you will definitely have to pay a huge price. However, if you let me do it, then the price will be much smaller. Tell me what you need. I want to know how to revive a ghost that died before its time. Sure. King Chujiang agreed without even thinking about it. The underworld wouldn't lose anything by revealing this information to the outside world. What's more, even if Yi Zichen was truly someone from the heavenly court, it was useless for him to know. The people from the heavenly court were all deities, so they didn't need this information. If this brat was truly immortal like he said, then it was useless for him to know this information, since he wouldn't be able to gather the materials for revival. You agreed so quickly? Yi Zichen didn't think that King Chujiang would agree so readily. No problem, but I need to see King Qingguang safely return to the underworld before I can tell you. That's no problem, but words alone are no proof. You need to give me a written promise. Ding dong. You receive King Chujiang's underworld oath. This king promises to tell you the method of revival after you save King Qin Guang safely. At the same time, I will also give you 10,000 heaven and earth merits as a reward. All right, wait for my news. After exiting the chat group, White Impermanence sent Yi Zichen another message. Can you really save King Qin Guang? You don't trust me? Of course I trust you. I'm just a bit worried. Don't worry, it's definitely no problem. If the Heavenly Court truly wanted to attack the underworld, then they definitely wouldn't let King Qin Guang return. It was very likely that they would lock him up in a secret prison somewhere in the Heavenly Court. What does Erlang Shin do? He's the head of the Heavenly Court's Security Bureau. He definitely has the right to know such a huge matter. What's my relationship with Erlang Shin? Swarm Brothers. Saving King Qin Guang isn't something that can be done in minutes. Yi Zichen immediately sent a message to Erlang Shin without thinking. Bro, are you busy? Yes. Erlang Shin replied almost instantly. Are you busy with King Qin Guang's matter? King Qin Guang. Erlang Shin was clearly stunned. Isn't King Qin Guang someone from the underworld? I'm trying to promote your goods to you. Slap. Yi Zichen slapped his thigh. He silently cursed himself for being too impatient. Tai-Bai jinxing just took King Qin Guang away. How could he reach the Heavenly Court so quickly? Then I'll tell you some news in advance. King Qin Guang should be brought to the Heavenly Court by Tai-Bai jinxing later. It seems like he committed a crime. However, I owe this brat a bit, so I hope you can help him out a bit. Tell me directly if there's any news. Bro, why do you still have contact with the people from the underworld? The relationship between the Heavenly Court and the underworld has been very tense in recent years. If some people with ill intentions find out, then you'll suffer greatly. Yi Zichen felt a warmth in his heart when he heard Erlang Shin's message. Although he had never met Erlang Shin before, their friendship was ridiculously deep. No worries, my identity is rather special. King Qin Guang is very important to me. Bro, I'll be depending on you then. No problem. Erlang Shin definitely wouldn't frown when he was willing to do anything for his bro. After a simple thanks, Yi Zichen exited WeChat. He reached out to touch the dragon eye in his pocket. Chapter 125. Lucy? Lu Qianqian the next evening. Yang Yusher's solo concert would begin in 3 hours. The guys in Yi Zichen's dorm were all fanatical fans of this goddess. Recalling the scene when he took out the concert tickets, being kissed on the face by 4 or 5 grown men was really unbearable. Are you done on your side? Yi Zichen stood at the door and spoke to Su Yan. He couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the people in the dorm who were fixing their hair and clothes. It seems like it will take a while. All right then, we'll wait for you in your dormitory. Make him hurry, Of course it has nothing to do with Kiki, but it's not good to make others wait. Okay, I'll try to make them hurry. Yi Zichen hung up the phone, then directly walked behind Zhu Yunbai, who was the most shameless. It was a kick. Stop messing around. Su Yan's roommates are waiting for us downstairs. Hurry up. The people from the goddess's dormitory are waiting for us. It wasn't just Zhu Yunbai. Zhang Rui, Baiyu, and Kong Peng's eyes also shone with a green light. Yi Zi, take a look at my outfit. When he saw this, Yi Zichen couldn't help but facepalm and sigh. It seemed he might as well not have said anything. In order to show off their most handsome side in front of the girls, Kong Peng and the others dragged on for another 10 minutes before slowly walking down. The moment Yi Zichen went downstairs, he saw Su Yin, Xia Kiki, and Sun Yaij chatting happily together. Gulp. Someone beside him swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and like a chain reaction, the others began to swallow their saliva as well. The 3 campus bells. Zhang Rui licked his lips, his eyes glowing green. The others were the same, but Yi Zichen was a bit confused. Sun Yaij and the others were in the same dormitory? Tyrant bro, Xia Kiki directly ran over and hugged Yi Zichen's arm. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen felt intense jealousy appear in the eyes of the surrounding people. Zichen. Su Yan also greeted him with a sweet smile. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile, then shook his head and sighed as he looked at Sun Yaij. Class rep, I didn't expect you to be roommates with Su Yin and the others. Yes. Sun Yaij still maintained her bashful personality, lowering her head and not saying a word. He glanced around and saw that only Su Yan's group of 3 were present. Yi Zichen rubbed his head as he recalled what Su Yin had said to him. Did Sun Yaij get the tickets for the concert? No. Su Yin smirked and said, It's our dorm's big sister. She went to buy some water and we'll be back soon. Let's wait for a bit. She's also a great beauty, Xia Kiki chuckled. Rumor has it that the 4 campus belles live together. Is that true? Zhang Rui, the gossip lover, popped out from the side and asked suspiciously. Xia Kiki nodded in reply. Yes. When he heard this, even Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned, but more than anything, he was filled with anticipation. He had seen the 3 campus belles, but he wanted to see the 4th one. She's one of the 4 school beauties alongside Su Yin, Xia Kiki, and Sun Yaij, so she shouldn't be bad, right? You little thief, stop. At that moment, Yi Zichen, who was waiting for Su Yan's roommate, suddenly ran out. At the same time, a girl holding a cold drink also ran away when she saw him. Lucy, stop right there. Why did I bump into him here? Lucy turned around to look at the distance between them as she ran. Although the 2 of them were quite far away at the start, how could a girl like her outrun a grown man? Thus, she decided to stop and pretended like she didn't know anything and started to walk back. Stop. Yi Zichen raised his hand and grabbed her arm with a playful expression. You're not running anymore? Who are you? I don't know you. Lucy intentionally spoke in English when she said that, as if she wanted to pretend to be a foreigner and get away with it. Yi Zichen frowned towards her with a smile. Continue pretending. Lucy continued to use fluent foreign language to act like she was very excited and confused as she tried to break free from Yi Zichen's arm. At that moment, Su Yin and company also came over. Lucy's eyes lit up when she saw this. Hurry up and save me. Someone's going to molest me. Oh wow, they want to make a big deal out of it, right? Hee hee, I'm so sorry. These people all came to find me. With that, Yi Zichen turned around and raised his eyebrows towards Su Yin and company. Hurry up and call the police. I caught a thief. Everyone was shocked. Did you make a mistake? After a long while, Su Yin finally asked in a testing manner. She's the big sis of our dorm, Lu Qianqian. What thief? Big sis, Lu Qianqian? Yi Zichen was a bit confused. Isn't this girl Lucy? At that moment, Lu Qianqian also ran to Su Yan's side and said with a troubled expression, Su Yin, hurry up and call the police. Su Yin, hurry up and call the police. This pervert just tried to molest me. Qianqian Jia, he's the Yi Zichen I mentioned to you before. Shocked. Both of them were shocked. Lu Qianqian and Yi Zichen stared at each other for an entire minute. It's a bit messy, let's sort it out. Yi Zichen closed his eyes and placed his right index finger between his eyebrows. After a long while, he opened his eyes and pointed at Lu Qianqian. She's the big sis of your dorm, and one of the school beauties of Polytechnic University, Lu Qianqian, right? Everyone nodded. She gave you guys the concert tickets, right? Everyone nodded. Clap. Yi Zichen clapped his hands forcefully, causing everyone to jump in fright. Isn't that it? Lucy, why are you still pretending in front of me? Hurry up and tell the truth. Rish bro, why do you always call Qianqianjia Lucy? This girl asked me to drink with her at the bar and told me that she's called Lucy. Also, do you guys know where her concert ticket came from? She stole them from me. At the time, TSK, I don't want your stinky face. Lu Qianqian put her hands on her waist and snorted. I've never seen you before, don't slander me. I'm a reputable person in Polytechnic University. What asking you to drink with her at the bar? What's stealing your concert tickets? Do you have proof? If you don't, then be careful. I'll sue you for slander. Wow, Yi Zichen exclaimed softly. Being able to be as shameless as she was truly in a different realm. Her ability to make a counterattack was definitely full marks. At that moment, Su Yin also pulled the corner of Yi Zichen's clothes to signal him not to say anymore. At the same time, Yi Zichen also smiled coyly. Sorry, I got the wrong person. Hearing that, Lu Qianqian instantly raised her chin up high. Watch your words in the future. Not everyone has such a good temper like me. Huh. Lu Qianqian snorted proudly, then turned around and left with Xia, Kiki, and Sun Yaich. Hearing that, Yi Zichen nearly spat out blood. Wow. Chapter 126. Zhu Siliang Yi Zichen was certain that the girl called Lu Qianqian was definitely the Lucy he knew. Along the way, his gaze had never left her, and it was the same for her. Yi, you guys are really slow. I've been waiting here for half a day. As soon as they arrived, Su Yiyun greeted them with a smile. When Lu Qianqian saw him, she subconsciously wanted to hide. Why is Lucy here too? Lucy. Lu Qianqian was really in a bad mood. Why was her luck so bad recently? The two people who were at the bar that day were from the Polytechnic University, and they even knew her roommate. For a moment, Su Yin and the others looked at Lu Qianqian strangely. Yi Zichen seized the opportunity to stab her in the back. Don't spout nonsense. This girl isn't that Lucy we met at the bar. She's our school's beauty queen, Lu Qianqian. When Yi Zichen said that, he intentionally emphasized the words bar, freeloading, and Lucy. Lu Qianqian rolled her eyes and shrugged. Well, I am Lucy, will you? Really? Why did I meet such a narrow-minded man like you? I'm petty. Yi Zichen stomped his feet in anger. If I'm not wrong, I seem to have helped this woman more than once. She actually said that he was petty. All right, we're all friends. Sun Yaij, who had remained silent, suddenly spoke up. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at Lu Qianqian and snorted. Since our class monitor has said so, I'll leave you some face. Tis petty. With that, she moved closer to Su Yin and muttered, Su Yin, this man is too petty. You can't be with him. Woman, you must be sick. Lu Qianqian made a face at him and stuck out her tongue. None of your business. The surrounding people hurriedly pulled Yi Zichen back. He had no choice but to grimace and tremble with rage. Yang Yushi is here. A black van was parked at the main entrance of the stadium. At the same time, a group of men and women holding flowers suddenly appeared and surrounded it. Bang! At this moment, dazzling fireworks were set off outside the stadium. A few big words also appeared on the LED display outside a high-end business office building opposite the stadium. Yang Yushi, marry me. Wow, so romantic. Xia Kiki exclaimed as she propped her face up with her hands. The girls beside her also looked on enviously. All girls liked romance, while Yi Zichen and the other guys twitched their mouths. Fancy. Playing to the gallery. Useless. What a waste of money. Yang Yushi seemed to be used to this scene. Under the protection of more than 10 bodyguards, she gradually walked out of the crowd. But at the end of the crowd, a handsome man in a well-ironed blue suit held a rose in his hand and waited for a long time. You came. Yang Yushi, who had stopped, looked forward with gratification in her eyes. The corners of her lips curled up. The man who had been guarding in front of her smiled warmly and walked towards her. I'm here. However, Yang Yushi, who had just stopped, brushed past him. The expression of the man that Yang Yushi ignored froze. When he turned around, he noticed that she had already walked in front of Yi Zichen. I thought you wouldn't come. Wow. Regardless of whether it was the people that came with Yi Zichen or the surrounding fans, they all exclaimed softly. Kong Peng couldn't help but step aside, while Su Yin also pulled Su Yin and company out. All of a sudden, only Yi Zichen and Yang Yushi were left in the circle of bodyguards. Speak, you're not mute. Yang Yushi's tone carried a hint of impatience. Yi Zichen licked his lips and raised his eyebrows. AI, I'm not seeing things, right? Is he Yi Zichen? It really does seem like it. Yi Zichen can be said to be a rather popular internet celebrity recently. He knows Yang Yushi. The video of Yi Zichen's school anniversary concert was truly too popular on Weibo. It was on the top search list for half a month. It was hard for him not to be famous. The surrounding fans gradually recognized him. Some of the more nosy ones even found out about the secret meeting between the two of them at a coffee shop. Nice to meet you, Zhu Siliang. The man that wanted to woo Yang Yushi at the beginning suddenly appeared and reached out his hand towards Yi Zichen. The man's voice was extremely magnetic and infectious. His deep eyes caused the surrounding female fans of Yang Yushi to scream out in surprise. You don't need to know me. I'm just a small fry. Yi Zichen smiled softly. He nodded towards Zhu Xiliang, then looked at Yang Yushi. I wish your concert a success. With that, he turned around and walked in front of Su Yan and company. Let's go. Yang Yushi pursed her lips tightly and looked at the people that left together. At the same time, Zhu Xiliang also retracted his hand that was hanging in midair. He turned around and handed the rose in his hand in front of Yang Yushi. Zhu Xiliang, stop being so attentive. We really aren't suited for each other. Even if my dad is trying to set us up, I still won't accept you. No worries, I won't force you. You will accept me one day. Zhu Xiliang casually handed the rose to the hands of the bodyguard beside him with a humble smile, then took a step back to make way for Yang Yushi. When Yang Yushi left without looking back, Zhu Xiliang also waved his hand to the side. Young master, I want to know the relationship between that man and Yang Yushi. Understood. When the bodyguard beside him left, Zhu Xiliang twisted his neck and a faint smile appeared on his face. Easy. What's your relationship with Yang Yushi? How do you know Yang Yushi? It seems like your relationship isn't simple. What exactly is Yang Yushi's relationship with you? Hurry up and say it. The surrounding people, especially Zhang Rue, all burned with the flames of gossip in their hearts. Yi Zichen was a bit annoyed by their questions, so he said angrily, "Why do you guys have so many questions? Are you guys going to the concert or not? If not, then go back." The surrounding people all stopped when they sensed that Yi Zichen was truly angered. Yi Zichen subconsciously looked towards the back of the venue. If there was no surprise, that man should be the business marriage partner that Yang Yushi's father arranged for her. That's not bad. At least he looks okay. The concert ticket that Yang Yushi gave him was for the first row of seats, which could be said to be the seat closest to the stage. Yi Zichen looked at the stage in shock, while the scenes between the two of them uncontrollably replayed in his mind. How could he not feel sad? He loved her, but he let her go with a smile. Ding dong, ding dong. Just as Yi Zichen was reminiscing about the past, the phone in his pocket suddenly rang. Yi Zichen quickly took out his phone and saw that Erlang Shun had sent him a message. Chapter 127. I'm the only one who can save her. Yi Zichen opened WeChat and looked at Erlang Shun's message. Erlang Shun, brother, you were right. Tai Bai Jinxing brought King Qingguang to Jade Emperor's side. A direct meeting with the highest leader seemed like the situation was going to be bad. Yi Zichen licked his lips and replied, "What's the situation now?" In the soaring Heaven King Palace, King Qingguang, who was wearing a crown on his head, stood proudly in the main hall of the Cloudy Palace of the Golden Arches. On both sides of the Cloudy Palace of the Golden Arches, various great deities, led by Erlang Shun and pagoda-bearing Heavenly King Li, lowered their eyes in silence. Jade Emperor, King Qingguang of the Underworld, ignored the rules of the Heavenly Court and held a birthday banquet. The Jade Emperor, who was sitting on the high seat, glared at him. The expression of the Queen Mother changed as well. King Qingguang, what Tai Bai said is the truth. No. King Qingguang raised his head and replied firmly. Tai Bai, the Jade Emperor looked at Tai Bai, jinxing again. King Qingguang, when I arrived, you ended the birthday banquet in a hurry, and I caught you in the act, yet you still want to quibble. Slander. King Qingguang, to be honest, I won't blame you. Recently, I also intend to write a new regulation. You can tell me the truth. The Jade Emperor smiled meaningfully. King Qingguang raised his head and cupped his fists. Jade Emperor, I did not hold a birthday banquet. King Qingguang, this emperor understands. You've worked hard in the underworld, so it's only reasonable for you to hold a birthday banquet and have some fun. Jade Emperor, I did not hold a birthday banquet. All right. The Jade Emperor nodded and stared at King Qingguang with a dark gaze. Put him in the heavenly prison. Jade Emperor, I'm not guilty. The surrounding heavenly soldiers immediately went forward to escort him. King Qingguang raised his head and stared at the Jade Emperor while shouting. At this moment, the Jade Emperor sat back down and smiled. King Qingguang, you lied to me, and you still say you're innocent? If you did, then you did. If you didn't, then you didn't. This emperor said that I won't blame you. Don't tell me you still don't believe this emperor. This prince did not hold a birthday banquet. Erlang Shun, The Jade Emperor raised his hand and called out. Erlang Shun, who was thinking about how to reply to Yi Zichen, quickly walked over. Your subject is here. Take King Qingguang away. Understood. Erlang Shun escorted King Qingguang down from Lingxiao Palace. Queen Mother of the West said softly, How are you going to deal with King Qingguang? What else can I do? The Jade Emperor sighed softly and said, In a numinous Heaven King Palace, I tested him, but he didn't admit it. If he doesn't admit it, then he's innocent. Do you think I can accuse him of crime? Shaking his head, the Jade Emperor stood up from his throne and looked at Tai Bai jinxing. Tai Bai, next time, you must seize the evidence. Don't be so reckless. After leaving the cloudy palace hall, Erlang Shun let go of King Qingguang. Wait here. Don't run, okay? You can't outrun me. Erlang Shun snorted towards King Qingguang, then took out his phone to reply to Yi Zichen. King Qingguang is in my hands. The Jade Emperor did not have anything on him. It seems like this matter is going to be left unsettled. Ding dong. Yi Zichen, who was holding his phone and watching the concert absent-mindedly, immediately replied when he saw the message. Then, can you directly let him go? Directly let him go? Erlang Shun was stunned. Although he knew that King Qingguang wouldn't be in any danger if he directly let him go. All right, I'll let him go. Who cares so much? I owe King Qingguang to my bro, so I must let him go. Then thank you, but don't reveal my identity to him. The underworld didn't have a good impression of the heavenly court. If King Qingguang found out that he was Sky Sovereign Nameless, that might cause unnecessary trouble. The moment he sent the message, Erlang Shun nodded, then walked in front of King Qingguang and pointed under the South Heaven's gate. Go back to the underworld. King Qingguang was stunned. Why did he let him go just like that? Don't think too much. A benefactor is going to help you. With that, Erlang Shun pointed under the South Heaven's gate. King Qingguang nodded heavily, then cupped his hands towards Erlang Shun before diving down. I let him go. Yi Zichen revealed a satisfied smile when he saw the message on his phone. Thanks. You're too courteous. Let's drink together when we return to the heavenly court. Sure. Yi Zichen closed WeChat. King Qingguang had just been released from the heavenly court, so he needed some time to get to the underworld. At that moment, Yang Yushi stood beside a host on the stage. Area C, row 4, seat 16. Why is it Area C? Why didn't she choose the first row? The moment the host said that, Xia Kiki and company beside, Yi Zichen twitched their mouths in disappointment. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. What did you announce the number for just now? Sharing the stage with Yang Yushi. Are you even watching the concert seriously? Yi Zichen quickly shut his mouth when he saw the unfriendly expressions of the surrounding people. If he continued to speak, then these people might just beat him up a bit. Then, it wouldn't be worth it. Not long later, a bespectacled boy with long hair, who looked a bit like a otaku, appeared at the center of the stage under the accompaniment of the security guards. The boy's face was filled with nervousness and excitement when he got on stage. However, at that moment, Yi Zichen, who was sitting on the stage, suddenly stood up and shouted, Yan Yushiran. Yi Zichen's sudden standing up shocked all his friends and fans. Yang Yushi, who was on the stage, also blinked in shock. F***CK. Yi Zichen, who was in the audience, quickly jumped towards the stage. All of a sudden, the face of the boy, who was standing beside Yang Yushi with excitement and nervousness, turned extremely dark. Go dot. Suddenly, a dagger appeared on his sleeve. Ugh. Yang Yushi. Yi Zichen's eyes twitched. He watched as the boy stabbed the dagger in her heart. A white knife entered, and a red knife came out. Bang! Zhu Siliang, who was standing below the stage, roared at the people beside him. Call an ambulance. F***CK your mom. Yi Zichen's eyes instantly turned red. He kicked the boy, but the moment he fell down, 7 or 8 bodyguards immediately appeared and subdued him. Yang Yushi, who was lying on the ground, was still bleeding from her heart. Yi Zichen squatted down and looked at her pale face, then took out his phone from his pocket. What are you doing? Put down the injured person. Zhu Siliang appeared behind Yi Zichen, while the emergency personnel who had to attend the concert stood beside him. "Put her down." Yi Zichen looked up. His pitch-black eyes were filled with terrifying blood vessels as he swept his gaze over everyone coldly. "Leave her to you guys? Do you think she can make it to the hospital for emergency treatment?" With that, a box of silver needles suddenly appeared in his hands. Chapter 128. 9 Suns Extend Life. No one saw how the box of silver needles appeared. Yi Zichen opened the box, took out one, and started to insert it. "Which hospital are you from? Do you have a medical certificate?" The male medic suddenly grabbed Yi Zichen's shoulder. The tremble from Yi Zichen's shoulder nearly caused the needle to go to the wrong place. Yi Zichen's heart tensed. Yi Zichen couldn't allow for any mistakes when he was about to insert the needle. If the needle went to the wrong place, then the consequences would be unimaginable. F***ck off. Yi Zichen's heart nearly exploded when he nearly killed Yang Yushi. He turned around, raised his hand, and pointed at the male medic. His eyes were bloodshot as he yelled at him. "Don't touch me, otherwise I'll make you die a horrible death." The male medic's expression instantly froze. After a long while, he came back to his senses and grabbed Yi Zichen's shoulder once again. Crack! Yi Zichen exerted force with his right hand and directly dislocated the medic's arm, then pierced the silver needle in his hand towards the center of the medic's eyebrows without any hesitation. Slap! Yi Zichen's right hand was suddenly grabbed by someone. When he looked up, he saw that the person who reached out was Zhu Siliang. "You want to stop me as well?" Zhu Siliang shook his head with a solemn expression. "You're a Chinese doctor? What do you think?" Yi Zichen flashed the silver needle in his hand. "How confident are you?" 30%, but if I can't, then there's no hope. 30%. The success rate could be said to be very low, but he understood Yang Yushi's situation very well. It would be too late to rush to the hospital. "All right, do the acupuncture. What help do you need from me?" Yi Zichen suddenly pursed his lips and laughed coldly. He looked at the panicking fans and media, as well as the controlled assassin. "Do what you have to do." With that, he ignored Zhu Siliang. With that brat's brain, he should know what he could do. Yi Zichen calmed himself down and discarded his thoughts. Acupuncture. 9 Suns Extend Life. Yi Zichen shouted, then inserted the last needle in his hand. The bleeding on Yang Yushi's chest had already stopped, while a hint of blood gradually appeared on her pale face. On the other hand, Yi Zichen looked like he was about to collapse, but his face was filled with a happy smile. Success. The 9 Yang Life extending needle was the strangest acupuncture technique in the Taishang Laojuan's eccentric medical book. The entire set of acupuncture techniques had a total of 49 needles, but the time it took to execute each needle was only slightly more than 10 seconds. In the process of inserting needles, one must not insert any wrong acupuncture points, which required the practitioner to be extremely focused. Of course, the silver needles also played a part in his success. He spent 2,000 cultivation experience to exchange for it from the treasure shop. It could increase the success rate of acupuncture by 10%. It was a one-time use item. When Yi Zichen saw that Yang Yushi's condition had stabilized, he wiped the sweat off his forehead and called out weakly, "Zhu Siliang, what's wrong? Is there anything else you need me to do?" Zhu Siliang had thought that she needed his help, mainly because the time was too short. It was less than 5 minutes in total. However, when he saw Yi Zichen, his pupils constricted. "You, take Yang Yushi to the hospital." Yi Zichen panted heavily, then stood up with difficulty. "No one can touch this needle, no one. Also this concert. Never mind, I don't want to say too much, you should know better than me. I will give you an explanation." Zhu Siliang's expression was terrifyingly dark. This concert was actually organized by him, yet something like this actually happened under his watch. "I don't need you to give me an explanation. You need to give Yang Yushi and her father an explanation. Remember, no one can touch the silver needles on Yang Yushi's body." Yi Zichen waved towards Zhu Siliang, then left with the help of Su Yin and company. "Zichen, are you all right?" On the way back, Su Yin and Xia Kiki sat on either side of Yi Zichen and asked about his well-being. Yi Zichen was able to lean on the beauty's shoulder with a tilt of his head. If outsiders knew about this, Wouldn't they be jealous to death? Nothing, I just felt a bit tired. Did you use acupuncture just now? Why are you like this after the acupuncture? Su Yin had a look of worry as she continuously wiped the sweat from Yi Zichen's forehead and cheeks with a napkin. How should I answer that? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. It just takes a lot of energy. I was too tired, so I felt tired. Su Yin nodded slightly. Xia Kiki, who was on the side, also twitched her mouth and muttered, "Why did it become like that? Yang Yushi is so nice. Why did someone treat her like that at the concert? It's fortunate that there's Riche Bro. Otherwise, I would have one less celebrity to like." Hearing that, Yi Zichen's expression darkened and snorted coldly. Blame Yang Yushi's father for being too arrogant. What? Nothing. Yi Zichen knew that he said the wrong thing, so he quickly shook his head and corrected himself. However, his heart was filled with coldness. If it wasn't for Yang Yushi's arrogant father, how could she have ended up in such a dangerous situation? He always acted like he was above everyone else and didn't show any respect to anyone. How could someone like that not have a lot of enemies? He did protect himself quite well, but Yang Yushi ding-dong. Yi Zichen's phone rang in his pocket. He took it out and looked at it. White impermanence. He quickly put his phone back into his pocket. Su Yin and Xia Kiki were so close. If he chatted here, he would definitely be exposed. Yi Zichen only jumped onto the bed and took out his phone when he returned to the dorm. White impermanence. I'm going to work again. This white impermanence seemed to have a really good relationship with him. She even told him when she was going to work. Thank you, thank you. Where am I going this time? Bingqing's First People's Hospital. White impermanence replied. Hospitals were indeed places that soul reapers of the underworld like them frequented. Just as he was about to reply, an unknown number suddenly rang up on his phone. Hello, is it Yi Zichen? The voice of the person on the other side of the phone was very solemn, but that did not affect Yi Zichen being able to tell who it was. Zhu Xiliang, what are you looking for me for? It really is you. Hurry up and come to the First People's Hospital. Yang Yushi, what happened to Yang Yushi? Yi Zichen, who was lying on the bed, suddenly sat up. Everyone else in the dorm also stopped talking and looked over with a solemn expression. Someone pulled out your silver needles. F***CK? Yi Zichen cursed angrily. Didn't I tell you that no one is allowed to touch those silver needles? You can't protect Yang Yushi at the concert, and you can't even protect the silver needles in the hospital. Just what can you do? Sorry my ass. I'll be there right away. Wait for me there properly. Yi Zichen was truly about to go crazy because of Zhu Xiliang. Then, tell him not to let anyone else touch the silver needles. He even told someone to pull out the silver needles. All of a sudden, he recalled that White Impermanence told him that she was going to the First People's Hospital. White Impermanence, whose soul are you trying to reap? Why are you asking this? This is very important to me. Hurry up and say it. If there were no surprises, then the soul she was trying to reap should be... Chapter 129. Increased lifespan, can you? Within the emergency room of the First People's Hospital. When the pacemaker lost its final effect, and when the wave on the machine turned into a horizontal line, everyone in the emergency room turned silent. I want to know who pulled out the silver needles from this girl's body. Elderjin's expression was very dark as he swept his gaze over everyone in the emergency room. Nobody said anything, right? The atmosphere was extremely tense. After a long time, Wu Duan walked out shakily at the back of the crowd. Elder Zheng, it's me. All right. Elder Zheng nodded towards him. Zheng Cheng nodded slightly at him and said, This girl's life is hanging by a thread because of the silver needles. You've done well, Elder Zheng. No need to say any more to me. Go and talk to the family. With that, the lights in the operation room dimmed. Elder Zheng was the first to walk out of the operation room. Zhu Xiliang. Yi Zichen rushed out of the emergency room with red eyes. When Zhu Xiliang saw him, he instantly lowered his sullen face. Sorry, bang. Yi Zichen punched Zhu Xiliang's face. The force of the punch caused the corner of Zhu Xiliang's mouth to bleed. Sorry, that's all you know. Just what can you do? I crack. The door to the operation room was pushed open, and Elder Zheng walked out. The face of this leading figure was filled with sadness due to the failure of the operation. He was already prepared to endure the curses of the family. But when he looked up, he saw a savior. Lil Yi. Yi Zichen looked up and saw Elder Zhan's surprised face. This geezer's luck was truly terrible. If this were to continue, it seemed like he would not be able to keep his title as a leading figure. The operation failed, right? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and walked in front of Elder Zhan. With your medical abilities, you shouldn't have made such a low-level mistake. Tell me, who pulled out my silver needles? The person who did it was you. Elder Zhan's eyelids twitched. He had seen the acupuncture technique when Yang Yushir was sent over. 9-yang life extending needle. This was a technique that he had only seen in medical books. At that time, he was wondering which master did it. He didn't expect it to be this little friend. What do you think? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. Just who pulled out? At that moment, Wu Dio also walked out of the operation room shakily. Deng Cheng glanced towards him, causing Yi Zichen to instantly understand. Director Wu, why are you here? Wu Dio and Yi Zichen had a bit of a grudge between them, but when the two of them met here, his eyelids twitched. You are the patient's family member. I'm the one who does the acupuncture. Yi Zichen's eyes reddened, then punched him in the nose. Blood flowed down Wu Dio's nose. Yi Zichen glared at him and cursed. You don't have any skills. You only know how to sleep with a doctor in the hospital. I'm telling you, Wu Dio, this isn't over between us. With that, Yi Zichen turned around and walked towards the operation room. The surrounding medical staff did not stop him under Elder Zhan's signal. Just as Yi Zichen was about to enter the operation room, Yi Zichen turned around and shouted towards Zhu Siliang. Do what you should do. Understood. Zhu Siliang nodded and walked toward Wu Dio. Plop. Wu Dio knelt onto the ground as his legs went soft. He knew that his future was over. When he entered the operation room, he saw that it was different from the last time. He did not see Yang Yushir's ghost. You finally came. I've been waiting for you for a long time. White impermanence suddenly popped out from the wall. She should have hooked Yang Yushir's ghost away the moment she left, but Yi Zichen told her to wait for him. She also wanted to see him, so she didn't do anything. Yang Yushir's soul, it's still in her body. I haven't started hooking it yet, White impermanence said softly. Of course, Yi Zichen did not know whether she was smiling or not since she was wearing a big white hat. Her lifespan is up. Uh-huh, White impermanence nodded. I looked at the book of life and death before coming. Her lifespan is indeed up. Lifespan is up. This meant that she was destined to face this tribulation. F***CK, Yi Zichen cursed silently in his heart. If it wasn't because that useless Zhu Siliang failed to guard the silver needles, and Wu Dio didn't touch her, she wouldn't have ended up like this. She could get peaches of immortality from the great sage to extend her life, but she had to get a 9 reincarnation soul pill from old Lord Taishang for a dead soul. The great sage was fine, but old Lord Taishang, the relationship between the two of them was extremely tense. Ding dong. King Chujiang. King Qingguang returned safely. Thank you. Beautiful. Yi Zichen looked up at White impermanence. King Qingguang returned to the underworld. Stop hooking the soul and stay here with me for a while. This person's lifespan will be up soon. King Qingguang returned. White impermanence was stunned. You really saved him. However, Yi Zichen no longer chatted with her, and instead focused on chatting with King Chujiang. I want to talk to King Qingguang. Sure. After King Chujiang replied to the message, another message popped up in the chat box. I'm King Qingguang. I'm the person who helped you return to the underworld. Within the first Yama Hall of the underworld, King Qingguang looked up at King Chujiang as he looked at the message on his phone. Big bro, this person did contact me before. He said that he can save you. King Qingguang's expression tensed up when he recalled what Erlang Shun had said to him at the Heavenly Court's South Heaven's Gate. You and Erlang Shun. I told Erlang Shun to let you go. Yi Zichen replied coldly and deliberately. Then thank you very much. King Qingguang's words were sincere. Although he didn't let the Heavenly Court get anything on him, if the Heavenly Court really wanted to keep him there for several hundred years, there was nothing he could do. What's more, the relationship between the Heavenly Court and the underworld was very tense. If he became the fuse and the Heavenly Court and the underworld started to fight, Recently, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva was in closed-door cultivation, while the great sacred emperor equaling heaven and the ghost emperors of the five directions were also in closed-door cultivation. He was the one in charge of the underworld. If something really happened to him, then he would be the scapegoat. No need to thank me too much. Yi Zichen intentionally acted a bit more cold and mysterious. King Qingguang, who was on the other side of the phone, also felt a bit of respect when he saw this reply. Understood. Then you are... I need you to help me with something right now. Please speak. Both King Qingguang and King Chujiang weren't sure what the other party's identity was, especially since the other party's relationship in the heavenly court was so strong. They really dared to be negligent. Who in the underworld is in charge of the human realm's book of life and death? That's me. All right. Yi Zichen made up his mind. I need you to increase the lifespan of the mortals in the human realm. Is that possible? Increased lifespan? King Qingguang was shocked. This was something that had never happened in the underworld in 10,000 years. Chapter 130. 50 years of lifespan, was it possible? King Qingguang looked at the message and fell into deep thought. The underworld had been in charge of life and death for tens of thousands of years. A person's lifespan should be fixed, and there had never been such a thing as increasing one's lifespan. But if he refused, he couldn't be sure of the other party's identity. If they could let him go, they might be able to catch him again. After weighing the pros and cons, King Qingguang replied, Master, the lifespan of the human world is determined by heaven and earth. It's not convenient for us to recklessly add more. That's against the rules. If you can't add them wantonly, then you can add them. I'm asking you if you can. Even White Impermanence was shocked by Yi Zichen's tough attitude. She had never seen anyone who dared to speak to King Qingguang like that after being in the underworld for so long. King Chujiang, just who is this person? Didn't you say that he contacted you? King Qingguang did not dare to refute Yi Zichen, so he could only look towards King Chujiang. I'm not too sure either. At that time, White Impermanence told me that someone could help you escape. I contacted him, and he said he was immortal. He even discussed the terms of the deal with me. Mortal? King Qingguang frowned. What's the condition? He wanted me to tell him a method to revive those who died before their time. King Chujiang answered truthfully. You want to extend the lifespan of mortals and resurrect them. King Qingguang pondered for a while. Ding dong. In the operating room, Bai Wuchang's phone rang. She took it out, and her expression changed. King Qingguang is looking for me. Give it to me. Yi Zichen took White Impermanence's phone back and looked at the message. King Qingguang. What is the identity of that expert? King Qingguang, don't try to get information out of me. I have White Impermanence's phone. Can you give me an answer? Yi Zichen handed his phone to White Impermanence after sending the message. It's not good for you to use my phone to talk to King Qingguang like that. What's wrong with it? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. He's trying to get information out of you. Even if I didn't say that, would you have? Of course not, White Impermanence said in a low voice. Then that's it, Yi Zichen shrugged. Inside the first hell hall, King Qingguang was stunned when he saw White Impermanence's reply. He actually used White Impermanence's phone. How can a mortal like him touch something from the underworld? Brother, if you really can't do it, then just add it. King Chujiang consoled from the side. How can we do that? If we let the heavenly court do that, there will be trouble in the future. King Qingguang hesitated. What's there to be afraid of? Tell that expert about the hidden dangers. He's so powerful in the heavenly court, so there shouldn't be any problems. King Qingguang was stunned when he heard King Chujiang's words. What he said wasn't unreasonable. Expert, it's not impossible to increase the lifespan of mortals. I've said everything. King Qingguang paused for a moment when he saw Yi Zichen's firm reply. Damn it. He had been the Yama King for tens of thousands of years. Even the Jade Emperor couldn't speak to him like this. Brother, don't be angry. Seeing that King Qingguang's expression wasn't good, King Chujiang quickly consoled him. The underworld is under the jurisdiction of the heavenly court. If we recklessly increase the lifespan of mortals, the heavenly court will inevitably do something if they find out. Recently, the relationship between the underworld and the heavenly court has been very tense. I'll take responsibility if anything happens, Yi Zichen replied without thinking. Just do it. If the heavenly court really dares to cause trouble for you, then tell me. I'll take care of everything for you. Both Yama Kings were shocked when they saw this reply. So domineering. Look at this person's tone. He doesn't even care about the heavenly court. Just what sort of identity does he have to be able to do something like that? Since he received this expert's promise, King Qingguang clenched his teeth. All right, who do you want to increase lifespan for? Yang Yushi of the Huaxia capital. Her father is Yang Zhen. I want to increase Yang Yushi's lifespan by 50 years. No problem. Wait a moment. King Qingguang immediately went to find the Book of Life and Death. Yi Zichen let out a sigh, then looked up at Yang Yushi, who laid on the bed without moving, and sighed in his heart. You're so amazing. You actually made King Qingguang give in. White impermanence exclaimed on the side. The ghost girl, Lu Jing, also floated out and looked at Yang Yushi, who was on the bed. You're going to succeed in picking up girls again. Girl, why do you always keep talking about me picking up girls? Yi Zichen looked up with a playful smile. You can't have fallen in love with me, right? Tisk shameless. Lu Jing pouted and snorted. I'm just telling the truth. Women all know that a hero saving a beauty is very cliché, but they can't help but fall in love with that hero. You save Yang Yushi. You two have a bit of story. Do you think she could forget you after this? I won't let her know. Yi Zichen's expression suddenly darkened. I won't interfere with her life. Yang Zhen has already arranged it for her. I won't go and destroy the path that he thinks will make his daughter lucky. Anyone could hear the loneliness in Yi Zichen's words. Lu Jing stuck out her tongue, then obediently floated to the side. White impermanence was stunned for a moment, but did not say anything. All of a sudden, there was nothing else in the emergency room apart from coldness and pressure. Ding-dong. After a long silence, Yi Zichen took out his phone. King Chujiang. Master, Yang Yushi's lifespan has already been added. Yi Zichen raised his hand and brushed it across Yang Yushi's forehead, then smiled and shrugged towards Lu Jing and White impermanence. Let's go. You really aren't going to stay here? If the first thing she sees is you... Yi Zichen interrupted Lu Jing before she finished. I said it before, I won't go and destroy her luck. Yi Zichen walked out of the operation room without hesitation. Zhu Xiliang immediately walked up to him. How is it? Yi Zichen immediately squinted his eyes when he saw this man. He grabbed Zhu Xiliang's collar tightly and lifted him up. Take good care of the woman inside. If she dares to get into any sort of danger, then I won't let you have it easy no matter what your identity is. Bang! Yi Zichen threw Zhu Xiliang onto the ground, while the surrounding bodyguards already surrounded Yi Zichen. What? Are you trying to protect your master? All of you back down. Zhu Xiliang, who was on the ground, crawled up and roared. After the surrounding bodyguards backed down, he walked in front of Yi Zichen with an apologetic smile. Thank you. Yi Zichen glanced at Zhu Xiliang coldly, then looked around. Where's Wu Dio? I already took care of it, Zhu Xiliang said softly. Hearing this, Yi Zichen's expression softened a bit. At least you have some brains. How are you speaking to Director Zhu like that? Ancestor. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled. That's your ancestor, not mine. Go to the side. Yi Zichen pushed away the angry bodyguards and turned around to leave. However, at that very moment, the tightly shut door of the operation room. Chapter 131. The original intention of forgetting Yushi. The moment the door to the operation room was pushed open, Zhu Xiliang immediately went up. The bodyguards behind him and the surrounding medical staff also went up. A patient that was about to be declared dead by the hospital was actually able to walk out of the operation room unscathed after that young man entered. Wasn't that a legend in the medical world? Let's go. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled when he saw Yang Yushi, who was surrounded by everyone. Lu Jing and White Impermanence both nodded, then followed him out of the hallway of the emergency room. Yi Zichen, Yang Yushi, who was surrounded by people, was shocked. When she ran out of the crowd, Yi Zichen had already disappeared. Yi Zichen saved me, right? Yang Yushi tilted her head and looked at Zhu Xiliang, who was on the side. Yes, he saved you twice. Twice. To be honest, I've never thought highly of anyone. I feel like no one can compare to me in my age group, but he... Zhu Siliang suddenly smiled coyly. I'm not as good as him. You're not as good as him to begin with. Yang Yushir attacked him mercilessly, and Zhu Siliang just smiled noncommittally. He was unable to retort. Zhu Siliang, you really should reflect on how you put me in such danger during the concert. Yang Yushir shook her head towards Zhu Siliang, then prepared to leave with her team. At this moment, Zhu Siliang suddenly stopped her and said with a mellow smile, I won't ask for your forgiveness, but Uncle Yang is hurrying over here from the capital. What's more, your body still needs to be observed in the hospital. Yang Yushir's team also agreed. She thought for a moment, then nodded, I understand. But Zhu Siliang, I don't want to see you. After leaving the First People's Hospital, Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh and sat on a bench by the side of the road. Lu Qing floated next to him and looked at him for a long time as she took a drag of her cigarette. Why are you so depressed? Depressed? Did I? Yi Zichen laughed. Lu Jing instantly twitched her mouth. You're still saying you didn't? Your face is about to be pulled to Mars. Yi Zichen rubbed his face with a dry laugh, then looked up at White Impermanence, who continued to follow them. Isn't it time for you to go back? All right, I haven't seen Black Impermanence with you lately. Ever since you taught him a lesson, he's been with another group of people. He's not with me anymore. White Impermanence replied softly. Yi Zichen immediately smiled coyly. It seems like I've affected your relationship as a couple. It is better to tear down 10 temples than to tear down one marriage. The Black and White Impermanence should have been together in the underworld for a long time. With that incident, the two of them immediately fell out. This was truly a sin. No, it's better this way. No one will interfere with the other. White Impermanence shook her head. At that moment, her phone rang. She looked at the message on it and said, What's wrong? I have to go back. Okay, see you later. Yi Zichen waved towards White Impermanence, then watched as she gradually disappeared into the lonely night. Lu Jing circled above his head twice and said, White Impermanence is interested in you. Wow, little girl, don't be so sensitive. Yi Zichen sighed helplessly. You always make me misunderstand that you're interested in me. Tisk. Lu Jing snorted, then scolded with a frown. I can't be bothered with you. With that, she returned to the dragon, eye to warm up her soul. Slap. Yi Zichen slapped his thigh. He was too focused on increasing his lifespan that he forgot to ask about revival. Just when he was about to take out his phone, Yi Zichen felt a hand on his shoulder. Who? Yi Zichen shuddered. When he turned around, he saw Deng Cheng, who was wearing a white coat, sitting beside him with a smile. Gramps, it's very scary at night. Gramps! Deng Cheng was stunned. He had never heard anyone call him that before. However, when he thought about his age and how his beard was about to turn white, calling him Gramps wasn't bad. If I remember correctly, you're called Yi Zichen. Deng Cheng smiled kindly, causing Yi Zichen to subconsciously move back a bit. This sort of wolf granny smile had tricked countless Little Red Riding Hood. What are you doing? Yi Zichen looked at him vigilantly while maintaining a suitable distance. Why are you like this? Do you think I'm a bad person? You don't seem like a good person either. Hearing that, Deng Cheng smiled wryly. I just wanted to ask, are you a medical university student? Chinese medicine major? No. Then, I'm a veterinarian. Deng Cheng's expression instantly darkened. Can we even have a pleasant conversation now? Young man, you're so vigilant. The reason why I can live so long is because of this vigilance that normal people cannot match. Yi Zichen did not move at all. Only when he saw Deng Cheng's increasingly awkward expression did he speak up once again. You came to find me in such a scary manner in the middle of the night. What do you want? Just say it. Ugh. It was the first time that a junior didn't give him any face at all. I want you to come to our hospital to be a Chinese medicine doctor. I can directly make you an attending physician. Oh, Yi Zichen stretched lazily and stood up from the flower bed without even batting an eyelid. Not going. A 20-year-old attending physician. This was practically unheard of in the medical world. Deng Cheng thought that the other party would happily agree, but he refused. I didn't hear it wrong, right? You're not coming to be an attending physician? Not coming. Yi Zichen shrugged. Being a doctor is indeed a high-paying profession, but I don't lack money. Being a doctor isn't just about earning money. It's also about saving people and helping the people. Stop. Yi Zichen's ears got calluses when he heard this. If you want to save people, you can still save people without being a doctor. If it's purely for money, then it's useless even if you put on that white coat. Saving people depends on the heart, not the profession. To put it bluntly, do all doctors aim to save people? I think that's only a minority. Deng Chung was speechless. That was how the market was. He was unable to retort. Yi Zichen sighed in his heart when he saw the other party's powerless lips move. Perhaps this old man was a doctor who wholeheartedly wanted to save people. However, not everyone else was like that. Yi Zichen ignored the old man's bleakness and left the flower bed with a wave of his hand. In the current era, the pursuit of fame and fortune, the most important thing was profit. With profit in mind, it would gradually cause people to forget their original intentions. Yi Zichen would help those who needed help, and he would help those who needed help. But it could save people and help the people. Yi Zichen's abilities were limited. He couldn't make such a great wish. Perhaps people would say that his morals weren't right. But now, how many of them were right?